Alright, hello. How's everybody doing here? Let me just quickly... Had a quick game change there. I've been waiting around all day for the Stormworks update. That took forever and wasn't sure that was going to happen. So I played some Tarkov. Some of the guys were watching that, and then we had issues in Tarkov. So let's go ahead and just getting set up here for Stormworks. I'm going to go ahead and we'll start by reading the update. I'm going to record this, guys, for the video. So that's what I'm doing now. So let's get that music knocked down a little bit more, and we'll go ahead and we'll read this for the update. I believe, let me just check with it in here with Phil. I believe it's all devs. Pictures. Yep, screenshot by the devs. I was pretty sure that was anyways, but we'll check with the good old Phil there. Thank you, Phil. What a service. Appreciate Phil's work on that. All right, so I'm going to record this for the video later. Let's go ahead and we will read this out. So, welcome back to the weekly update. This is for April 17th, 2024. Upcoming commercial fishing major update is going to be the 8th of May, 2024. And these screenshots are all by the devs. Dear Stormworkers, prepare to cast your nets and commence trawling. It is almost time for the commercial fishing major update. On the 8th of May, we're launching this new major update. Let's discuss what to expect. Fish will be found most abundantly at specific places on the map. This is something that I asked for that, I'm not taking credit for it, of course, but this is something that's pretty logical that I think makes sense. From a gaming perspective, by putting the fish at specific places on the map, this gives you incentive to move around. If you could just go 10 feet offshore and drag your net around and then go right back, you'd see people who are just like meta people just hanging around the fish cellar all the time, never going to different locations. So by having abundant fish on specific places on the map, that's a really good idea. It gets you out to where... to certain fishing grounds. This is how it works in real life. You know, you have certain structures that the fish like to hang around, different species of fish, and so that's really cool. That will start to give people incentives to, for example, you can see some of the pictures in the Arctic. It'll give people incentives to go to different places on the map, which I think is important to gameplay. Different species of fish will have different locations and depths. This was also something I had put in my video for what I would hope for commercial fishing. By having this different types of depths and different locations, it gives you a little bit where you can use your expertise in fishing, and you can get better and you can get more skilled at it, knowing where to fish, knowing how to fish, knowing what depths to fish, and it gives you a little bit of variability. It's not just plunk net in water, drive round, yay, sell money. That's pretty shallow. This seems a lot more, pun intended, deep. So that is cool. Information on these locations will be purchasable in a similar way to offshore oil deposits in the oil update. So if you don't know, you can go to the oil derricks and you can get information on where you can go and drill for oil offshore. So that's very cool. That was another thing I had asked for in my video. So I think they're on the right track here, actually making it so there's a little bit of depth here. I really like that. So another cool picture by the devs. I was really kind of shocked that it was nets first. I thought nets were going to be a big problem for them to do the cloth physics, and it appears like they've been able to do it. So this is something that usually in a lot of games, cloth physics is one of the hardest things, and it looks like the devs were able to do it in a pretty good way. The new fish finding radar part will allow you to scan the water for fish. So a lot of people have been asking for that. I think it's a great idea, the ability to use a fish finder to actually find the fish. Again, giving us... It would be a little bit boring if you just dropped your net in the water, drove around, went and sold. I think that would be really boring, where now it gives you a reason to go different places. It gives you a reason to fish at different depths. You're actually looking at the fish finder, trying to do this. It will allow us to build more systems and monitors and stuff like that to actually find the fish. That's really cool. This data will assist in locating the highest fish density areas and help with important information such as depth of fish, which is useful for setting your nets. So this is going to allow us to do things like drop our winches. As you can see, they have two winches here that drops the spreader bar for the net, and so that would tell you how much line you need to let out in order to get the nets at the correct depth. So I really like that. I think that's good, and it is really interesting. By creating rope links between fishing net anchors, you will be able to create rectangular nets simulated with a simple cloth-type simulation. These nets can be extended and contracted and also have an openable release in the center to release fish you catch. Fish that swim into nets are picked up and are visible on the nets. So we can see that in this picture right here. As you can see, that's what the net will look like. As you see, it does phase through the hull, which it's going to have to, which makes sense. Again, same reason why our ropes go through. But as you can see, the fish are suspended in the net, so that's really cool. And you'll be able to open the middle and drop the fish out. So that's pretty cool there. Fish will be priced differently depending on species. This was also something I'd asked for in my video, which was by having different prices for the fish. This gives you, for example, let's say you need to go up to the Arctic to get cod. Cod is a bottom-dwelling fish. So if you want to go get cod, say cod is the most expensive fish. You get the most money for it. It gives you an incentive to go all the way up to the Arctic. Right now, we do not have much incentive to go to the Arctic. Fishing could make it a good reason to go up to the Arctic again. And so let's say you go up to the Arctic. The only place that has cod is the Arctic. And the only place that cod are in the Arctic is deep down. So you need a big fishing boat with big winches that can drop the net all the way down to the bottom, maybe hundreds of meters. And you drag the nets on the bottom and you get this really expensive cod. It took you a long time to get out there in the boat to the Arctic, and because of that, you get a big payday. So that's really cool. I think that's neat, and that will also give you a reason to go to certain areas. As they said, the fish will be priced differently depending on species, and the species will be located in different areas. So that's really cool. With some fish more valuable than others, and some locations more abundant than others, there's more strategy to operating an efficient fishing vessel. So I think that's a good word there, is strategy. By letting us start to build some strategy here, it will let us build some expertise. It will make sure the game has a high ceiling, and it's not really just, you know, a thin pool where we quickly, okay, we do fishing for 2 days, then we get bored. You can really start to get good at this, and there'll be a sense of satisfaction as you learn how to fish effectively. You'll start to feel like you're doing a good job at it, so that's really cool. This is a free major update. All major updates are free and will be available to all Stormworks players on the 8th of May at 1700 UTC. That is going to be 1300 Eastern Standard Time. So for me, catch us next week for a minor update. I believe that's the update they plan on fixing the jumping issue, and then 2 weeks later for the major update. So May 8th. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this. Should be seeing a lot of fishing vessels being built. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, good. So that is recorded. So we have that. I'm really excited about this. You know, a lot of the ideas I had in my video were obvious. So I certainly don't, I don't take credit for any of this. There were some obvious ideas, but I think these are really good ideas. I'm glad the devs seem to be taking this in, doing some really good in-depth things. Like, for example, you could imagine the most profitable fish, if you put them only in the Arctic, we now have a reason to go up there. For so long, we had no reason to go to the Arctic. Now we do, to go out and go fishing. And that is super cool. That really gives us an incentive and a reason to go up to the Arctic. All right, so I think that is super cool. I think that's really nice, and I'm happy with that. I think they did a good job with that. I think it would have been too thin if we just, like, if we look at the map here, like, oh, here's FJ, and the fishing sell point is right here. So I launch my boat, I go swoosh, 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 I sell. Swoosh, 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 I sell. Swoosh, 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 I sell. I now have $2 million. Yay, I'm bored. You know people are going to do that. So it's better to say, okay, I have to go to, I don't know, let's say the fishing village, right? Here's fishing village. It's called fishing village. There's a fishing village right here. Let's say you have to go up to the fishing village and buy the information that tells you where the good fish stocks are. You go up there and you actually get the information of where the fishing is, where the fish are plentiful, and where the best types of fish are. And then you'll see the spots on the map, and then it gives you incentive to come up here to fish around the Arctic. I don't know where the fish seller is here. Right here. Okay. Fish seller is right here. You can also spawn boats here. So it might be most profitable to operate in the Arctic. Personally, that's what I would do. Generally, Arctic fish, crab, things like that tend to be pretty profitable. But, something like that is really cool. Like if you're doing more like hot, warm weather tropical fish, you might have to go down here to the south. If we look at the heat map, maybe you have all your tropical fish in here, you have your temperate fish here, you have a cold weather fish here. This was big, something I featured in my video that I thought was important was like, you might want to go out of Sawyer North and you want to head all the way up to here. And as soon as you start hitting the blue zones, you start getting really plentiful fish. Cold weather fish tend to be better eating fish, and they tend to be more plentiful. And so you go up here, you go fishing, and you come back. Well, that's a long distance. You need to be paid for that time, and you're paid because the fish is more profitable. Here, the fish is close to all your areas, and so the fish isn't worth anything. You know, the fish might not be worth anything right next to where you sell them. Makes sense, right? You don't want to have you don't want to have a gold mine right here, and you go, bip, 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 bip. It's so boring. But by taking your boat out, actually, like, using some strategy, I also think it's going to be super cool for multiplayer. You know, the devs talked about their intentions for, like, what they thought people were going to be doing in multiplayer, how they built multiplayer, was so that when you... Let me get rid of that display cap real quick. When you go ahead and you play multiplayer, what they thought people were going to do is launch a big boat, and everybody was going to crew the boat. And instead, people all want to have their own things. And I'm really thinking towards having, when we do multiplayer streams, like, it could be me and 6 members out there on a fishing boat trawling, and you're going to have some people running the winches, somebody's running the fish finder. We pull the net up, and everybody goes down on the deck and starts making sure the fish get into the hoppers. And you might start dropping some on the deck, so you got to pick up the fish and throw them in the hoppers. The ones that miss falling in the hopper, because they said that you're going to be able to open up the center of the net and dump the fish out. So you're going to have some that inevitably will miss the hopper, and you got to pick them up by hand and throw them in the hopper. And it gives you a real reason to have a crew, and I think that's something that's really super interesting with this. So let's go ahead and we'll check out the chat here. The chat's continued for me from the earlier videos, so let me just check here. Yeah, I got the Tarkov one up too, so it the two chats streamed together. So I'm just checking some of the old ones. Yeah, they said there's going to be a fishing dealer, so it's likely the same system. Like, we'll go to one of the oil platforms here. I've yet to really look at these myself, because I've literally never. You see oil data vendor right there. So again, anytime you add, the way that these things work in game is they're vehicles. So these are actual vehicles in the game. The pumps that you use to pump diesel fuel in your base, those are vehicles. And so likely when you, you're going to have to probably do a new save. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, I've got a long-running save. It will literally take me 20 minutes. And the longest thing that will take is me for it to re-drill oil. And I'm not worried about it. So, like, here's you purchase oil data. My thought process would be it's going to be similar to this. It'll be the same type of kiosk. And you go somewhere on the map, and they have this kiosk, and you buy the data. I've never done this before. Let's see. All right, I just bought some new oil data there. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see. Does it show it? Is this it? No. So it showed me the coordinates. It just took it down. Let me see. Does it show it on the map is the question. So you might have to write down the coordinates, but that's not a big deal. Again, you plug it in your GPS and you go out there. What is that? Okay, that's just the cell areas zoomed out look funky to me because I've got the color on. So you know, if it tells you the same thing, like, hey, this fishing location is at X coordinates, Y, or it's XZ now, XZ coordinates, you just go out there. So I'd say, if I were to guess, I would say it's going to be the same as that. But we have plenty of places to sell fish. We have Urine Wind, we have FJ. We could sell them here at Sawyer South, Sawyer North. Sell them at Holt. We can not there. We can sell them at Chemodo, and then we have the one up here at Tajin. You can sell there. So we have plenty of them. And again, it's going to change the way the fish are going to have different values. Again, that was a complaint people had. They were like, oh, all the fish are the same price. Again, likely, if I were to guess, they were probably expecting to expand on this, and it just wasn't ready last time. Or they said, hey, you know, we need something for the next major update. Let's do fishing rods, get people interested in fishing. We'll ask for some feedback. We can kind of do the final tuning, and then bingo, the first one. We'll have some of that input from players. And so I think that's very exciting. So let's catch up with chat. Yep, Alistair has a good point. He says maybe this cloth physics will help them with sales. The devs talked about how they had worked on sales. They were not happy with the results, and they might go back to it. And so, again, kind of, using some of that, using some of the subtext. Now we get some cloth physics with this. That's what I was thinking as well, is now, like, we have a thing that we could have with sales. And I know I've probably beaten this horse to death, but let's see. So we have the poll results. Again, they pretty much gone in order. Some of the things were easy and they went, but sales was number 3, and people have been wanting sales. It was number 3. It was ahead of natural disasters. It was ahead of all these things. The devs did say they worked on it. We're not happy with the results and might come back. And so now that we are getting more and more fishing stuff, I would say they're probably going to continue fishing for a little bit. I think they said the next couple majors are going to be dedicated to fishing, but now that the nets are going to come in, they'll be able to see, okay, how are the nets functioning? The nets functioning well? Are they not functioning well? What do we need to do to fix nets? So nets would be a good way for them to kind of work around and fix up some of the hiccups with the cloth physics. If they can get that hammered in pretty well, all they really have to do is retexture it to be opaque to be sales. And then, again, if you look at let's go back to the images here. If we look here on the net images, all they really have to do is make this opaque, and now you have, you have nets, or you have sales rather. And then if you look, this looks like a new part. If you see this this yellow dong looking thing here, that looks like where the net connects. And then the spreader bar here, it will open up the net. And so likely, they could redo this part. It looks kind of like a mast already. If you look at this one, it has these net-looking parts, these buoys. They look kind of like buoys. I wonder if, there's one right here. This is that dong-looking thing there. That's part of the net system. If I were to guess, as you can see, the net's going through it here. The net's going through it there. For sales, you could do the same thing. They would probably not even really need to be reskinned all that much. Like if you see this one here, I can't zoom in on this one, but you can notice this one here. Let's zoom in like this. You notice this one here is those circular pieces for nets. They really don't have to do too much reskinning to make those work with sales, where, for example, you put them down here, and then you have the boom, and then you have the mast and the boom, and now you put a sail on there, and bingo, you have a sail. The nets are able to be drawn in and pushed out, and so same thing with sails. You should be able to draw a sail in down onto the boom to store it, and then you should be able to raise it. So that's a good point by Alistair there. That type of cloth physics really, I think, works itself well to the nets. So nets could be a really cool way for them to kind of play with that. Time to rebuild your old codfather. Yep, indeed. I think you can see a lot of people building fishing boats. That's what I want to do right now. I was talking to the guys when I was playing Tarkov there. I was kind of like, I didn't know what I wanted to play. I couldn't think of anything I wanted to really build in stormworks. And now, bingo, I need to build a fishing boat. And so this is weeks of work to get prepared for this. We've got a couple weeks till, it's going to be 2 weeks from next week, I believe. And so we've got 3 weeks to essentially build a fishing boat. And so that's a good amount of time. The devs told us with enough time where we can get prepared for it, we can get excited. Let's go to SteamDB real quick. I was talking about this a little at the end of the Tarkov stream that I just stopped, was the, some of the people in the comments will go, they should stop doing new stuff and just fix the bugs. And that's a terrible idea. There's a reason why game companies don't do this, is look at these. These here are your major updates. You can see these are around the major updates. And this is when the player base comes back, is people get bored. They don't know what to build anymore. It's a building game after all. And the devs give you something new to do, and you see the people stream back. And this is what keeps a game alive. We do not want this game to die. We need people to come back to it. And so it does not surprise me that likely you're going to see, as this gets released, people are going to come back to the game. You're going to see a bunch of people building. I want to do multiplayer with you guys. doing this stuff, and so it's going to be an exciting time to get this new gameplay, and that brings people back. And I think they've been doing a damn good job. Let's go ahead and look at, like, this isn't the main site. We'll go back to the main site in a second here, but you know, that's when the community comes back, and so they need a balanced approach, and they're doing it. We get bug fixes. We get more bug fixes than we're getting new content. Like, you can look at the number of bug fixes we get a week. Like, some weeks we get like 20 bug fixes, and we get one small new piece of content, and people still complain, be like, oh, we should get no new content. It's like, no, man, that's not how it works. You need to keep people engaged in the game, because what will happen is you'll get too many people leave the game, they'll go do something else, and they'll never come back. You gotta give the people reason to kind of come back every once in a while, or a game dies. And I think those people just don't know what they're talking about when they say that. Let's look at the discussion here. I think some people said it was reasonably... there we go. That's a good one from Alistair. Awesome. Can't wait to see what people complain about with this. So it looks like so far at this point, like, here it is. Perfect. Look at this jackass. What a jackass. He got his clowns for that one. This guy, at this point, I'd rather just have no updates than more of this stuff. It just feels like the devs are continuing to spit at us. Dude, it's such an easily debunkable bullshit, too. Let's do stormworks poll again. Again, like, dude, look at the poll, man. Like, you can argue whether or not the devs should have had a poll. I get that. But literally, they're following what the community asked for right here. And again, it looks like, you know, oh, look, fishing's way down the list. Fishing is, it's 49 votes off of sales. So, like, these votes here are within 49 votes of one another. So, like, this is what the community wants. And, you know, the community's is going to be happy with this, you know, to have more fishing stuff. The community's been asking for this. Like, you've been living under a rock if you, at this point, don't know. This is what the community wants. Just because you, long name, don't want this does not mean that the community, that a large portion of the community wants this. You know, a lot of us are excited about this. Like you see, people excited, and then you get some whiny shit. Guess what, dude? Stop playing if you're unhappy. Don't touch the fishing update. It's free. You don't have to use it. Those of us who aren't grouchy pricks will use it. You know? Let's see what else we got here. Good job by Phil there. Whiny bitch fest right there. Yeah, so yeah, we got with standard whiners in there who are just gonna whine, you know. Here's one talking about potential sales, so that's good. Somebody bring politics in for no particular reason with a Stalin picture. That's shocker there. Got a Stalin picture on, and you try to goat people in with politics. That's a shock there. The dregs of the internet. So, oh, sorry guys, I wasn't showing you the right screen. But yeah, you guys, just dregs of the internet, some of these people. But pretty silly. You know, it seems like most people are going to be excited for this. I would say if you kind of watch this, you're going to see people are going to be excited. You know, Sharp Spoonful here, fantastic update. Thanks, guys. Do not listen to the haters. You're doing a good job. Guys, if you're enjoying the game, make sure you're at least, like, letting them know. Like, if you know, plenty of people, if they're pissed off, will let them know. You know, it's a lot of work to be doing, and you know, when they do something right, they need a pat on the back. And a lot of us who enjoy the game will forget to give them their pat on the back when they do something right, and we'll only slap them when they do something wrong. And you gotta do it both ways. When they do something good, you gotta give them their pat on the back. You can't just always slap somebody and expect them to keep doing it. You know, it's just it could wear out anybody. So I think they're doing a pretty good job with this. I'm excited. I never thought they were gonna get nets. I thought it was gonna be too much to get cloth physics. I thought it was going to be too much of a pain in the ass. It's a risk for them. It's a lot of work, and it's a risk, and they took the risk. And I think, you know, hopefully we don't have a lot of issues with it. I would say we probably need a new game save, but I think it's going to be exciting. You know, I think it's going to be fun to get 6 people out on a boat and go fishing. I think there's going to be enough work to do in the boat that 6 people can enjoy fishing, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to it. And we'll have a bunch of multiplayer streams, and it looks like a good time, you know. And, you know, again, we get a major update every about 3 months. It's quarterly. So, you know, by the time this starts to feel maybe old, you know, we'll have another one on the horizon. So that's why they do this. That's why they have a regular pattern of major updates is things start to feel stale. Bingo, you get something new to look forward to. You play it for a little while, it gets stale, play something new. And then you can go back to your old favorites after time. But, you know, Whiny Bitch Fest right here, you know, talking about, oh, like they're coaxing people back. Again, SteamDB. Look, it's a standard quarterly release of major updates. Nothing has changed in years, dude. You just don't know. That dude doesn't know what he's talking about, man. It's silly. It's silly, like they broadcast their ignorance on the internet like this to this level. It's just, it's pretty silly. You know, like you can see, you can go back, you can check the polls, you can look at the actual patterns on, you know, player numbers. And again, it's not hard to read between the lines and realize when you actually, you know, put out a major content, people come back and play your game. And you need people to keep coming back, or else eventually they'll go and they'll never come back. It's why if they spent 2 years and they said, hey, we're only going to fix bugs for 2 years, you know what would probably happen? Big part of the population would leave the game and never come back. And there's probably a bunch of the same people who say, just do bug fixes, just do bug fixes. Those people are the people who are flakes and would just leave, you know, so... All right, let's continue with chat, and then we'll go and we'll start working on this boat. So I was going to redo Codfather. Can we use sonar to detect fish? They said there's going to be a fish finder, so I would say that it's going to be a new system. I think it should be a new system. Because ideally you don't want the fish finder to be pinging on ships or sunken treasure or any of that stuff. You want it to ideally just ping fish. So it's my understanding, if I were to guess when I read between the lines, that is that's going to be there. Yeah, guys, I don't need I appreciate it, but I don't need a message when you can't see my screen. By the time I figure it out, you know, it's usually before the message. I appreciate it, but it's just, I just get a ton of pings for no reason, really. But I do appreciate. Let's see, it's not saving. Okay. Do we think sales will come? I think it's. I think this is a good way to test out the mechanics for sales. I think that's probably likely. Again, looking at that poll, let's bring the poll back up. You know, they've, you know, as much as people want to bitch about, they don't, you know, people go, they don't give us what we want. Yes, they might not give you what you want, but they are giving the community what the community voted for. Whether it was the right thing or not is irrelevant. People voted on this stuff, and they gave them nuclear reactors weapons. They said they might come back to this, so it's third on the list. I don't think they're just ignoring everybody who wanted sales. I don't think they're saying, well, we don't like sales, so screw that. They've said they worked on it. They were not happy with the results. Now they have nets in. If the nets work well, I think all they have to do is put in, you know, they have to texture the nets differently, which I've even done some of that myself on retexturing files in Farming Sim. You're pretty much just putting a different paint mask on it, and it changes color. And so you put an opaque or a transparent paint mesh on it, and then you now have nets turned into sails. And then for quote-unquote sales, like the way you could do sales is pretty simple. If sail up, you know, the mast actually produces the force. And so if the sail's up, the mast produces the force. If the sail's down, the mast does not produce the force. And then you would tilt it with the boom. So like something like that I think is doable. I think they wanted to go back to this. They said they'd already worked on it. You know, most companies don't work on things and just try to throw them away. Sometimes they reach a dead end, but it seems like they reached a little bit of a dead end on sales, and it wouldn't surprise me if they came back. Natural disasters is in. This is in. This one, I don't think we're ever going to get cooperative building. I don't think it's going to happen. Arctic ice breaking, I'm pretty dubious on. They took out all the floating pieces of ice because of performance. Again, you have a part of the community who loves to play on Wild West servers. And, you know, they always complain about lag. And so one of the ways you get rid of lag is you get rid of the bushes, you get rid of the underwater features, you get rid of floating ice so that they can have their multiplayer experience. And so do I think they're going to make breakable ice? No, I don't think so. I think that's it's going to be a lot. Like, you have to make it so that you have one plane, and then the plane breaks up into multiple planes. We don't have that in game for anything now, so that's, I think, a huge, like, it could be an engine limitation too at that point. So I think that's probably unlikely. But space is in, steams and compressed airs and fishing is in and continue to be in. This is in. Decorative components, we've never actually got a full decorative FLIR. We have the infrareds, which is essentially FLIR, forward-looking infrared. Stormworks are in. Component modding, I don't even know what that's about. No weapons is in contradiction to weapons, so that's irrelevant. Pathfinder API, I don't know. I don't think so. Kraken is in, and then no new features, just bug fixes. Again, that dude who was bitching that only we should do bug fixes, again, got a whopping 623 votes compared to every other one of these. So add all these together, and you'll see what the difference is. So let's see. We'll do it. 3503 plus 3449 plus 3000 plus 2903 plus 2792 plus 2551 plus plus 2442 plus 2205 plus 2132 plus 2051 plus 1836 plus 1803 plus 1728 plus 1723 plus 1571 plus 1380 plus 1287 plus 1068. All right, so that's 39,424 votes of people voting for new features and 623 people voting for no new features, just bug fixes. So when you get some guy in there in the comments saying like, you know, we don't want this, we just want bug fixes. Yeah, you and 622 other people want that. 39,000 people want new stuff in their game. And so that's the sort of shit where it's like, again, they act as though there's some sort of silent majority, and it's like, there is a poll, you know. There's a poll you can reference to show you exactly where you're on this list, dude. All right, let's catch up with chat. Beating this dead horse. Yeah, I couldn't say it to save my life. Oh, doing a train trawling this. Very interesting. Fish storage is still in the hoppers, so put them in the hoppers. I think that's the perfect way to do it. We already have the hopper block. They hold ore and fish. I don't think we need a specialized fish well. Just put them in the hoppers. You know, I think, of course, would it be perfect if we had to have a water circulated hopper? Yeah, but again, it adds a lot of complexity, and you know, I like the complexity, but again, is it worth their time and effort to do that? Probably not. Like, just throw it in hoppers. I think it's reasonable. You know, the other thing, I'm glad they're doing this. You will absolutely get people bitch that will be like, oh, I have to go so far to get fish now. Okay, well, dude, that's the part of the game is like, it's a balancing thing. Like, they don't want you to have to go 10 feet offshore to go get $2 million worth of fish. And then, like, you've got $2 million worth of fish. What are you going to do now? I'm bored. There's nothing else to do. Yeah, you need to kind of go spend some time. You need to earn your money. That's how you get a feeling of satisfaction is doing that. So I think they did a good job with also going to put them in certain areas, differentiate the species, different values for the fish. I think they have some really good ideas here. Check out Creation Showcase. Let's look on mine. Keep my sanity. You assume I have it already? Which one there? Citrus, mine or the other one? How's it going there, Neo? How are you? Just getting down to that chat now. Ah, well, good. We're only about 6 minutes late on chat. That's not bad. Good to see you, Neo. How are you? Everybody check out Neo's videos if you do not watch Neo's videos. He's got some good shorts I always like to see. Neo, have you not been putting out shorts lately? I've not seen them in my feed lately. YouTube has a good habit of, like, you subscribe to somebody, and then it's like, oh, you like this person? No, I'm going to show you all this other crap that you don't want to see. And it's like, no, man, I subscribe to people because I want to see their content. Yeah, I love new components. I think it's like there has to be a balance. And those people who say like again, we saw the poll, right? 625, 623 people wanted nothing but fixes, and 35,000 people said, "No, no, man, give us some fixes." You know, that's pretty normal. I would love it if they'd add ice breaking, but they have to come up with they have to be able to have a certain terrain in game that can be fractured. And so I think that's probably pretty resource intensive to have that. So I would love it myself. Like I play solo most of the time, so I would love ice breaking. I think that would be great. I know Alistair just made an icebreaker. That would be fantastic. But, I think part of the thing that the devs have to worry about that we don't is you get a lot of people who play multiplayer on Wild West servers and they complain about the lag. They don't have a PC that can play it. They're playing a Wild West server with no rules. They got too many people on there with high ping, spawning shit they should never have spawned, that a lot of them had to edit game files to even get in the game. And then they go on and they complain, game laggy, multiplayer's unplayable. And so the devs have to worry about that because it's bad PR. And so part of the things they have to unfortunately curtail because of that. Like, for example, I would be all for it if they said, like, for example, you have Arctic ice breaking, but it can't be played in multiplayer. It's only played in single player. They could do that, something like that maybe. But I think, I would love it if they added a lot of extra stuff, but it's just whether or not they can get it in and make it work. Because they can't just, like, it's hard for them to make it work in just single player and say, oh, multiplayer can't have it, because what's going to happen? Then you're going to get people playing multiplayers, oh, I want to do that too, and so it's tough. They do oh, you mean like tunnel? Yeah, I would much rather if they did underwater tunnels for the trains, but yeah. Yeah, like ground vehicle API, yeah. It would be interesting if they had like moving traffic and stuff like that, but I could see it becoming a problem too. The problem, yes, thank you for reminding me, Alistair. I was waiting to stream to do it. Let me do it now. Alistair just reminded me to open up the submissions for the challenge. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you to Ace for letting me know one of the permissions was wrong too. Let's see. Alistair, can you do a test for me right now? And post your build. I know your build's ready. Post your build in there. And if everybody could just hold on, let Alistair do it first. I'm trying to see because if I don't put the permissions correctly, I won't get the picture from the link. So I'm trying to make sure the picture for the link comes up. So if you could post that, Alistair, that's open now. Thanks for reminding me. Yep, it's good. So permissions are good. So you guys can post your builds when you're ready. As you can see, picture came up. I've screwed the permissions up before with one of these challenges where it was like right here. You can see that was me screwing the permissions up. So it posted the links but no pictures. So I have to do it just right or it won't post the pictures. So. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that the overwhelming, it's still, the whole thesis of it is overwhelmingly people wanted to fix bugs and to add new content, which is obvious, right? Like, I think of all the new content that we got over all these years, and I would not trade that for, like, a bug-free experience. I have a few bugs. A lot of people think there are so many bugs in this game because, we build our own vehicles, and a lot of people put bugs into their particular vehicle and they blame the game. Like literally we've been dealing with this week, some people again saying Steam doesn't work. Steam has been working and has been working the same since November 25th pretty much. A couple tiny little things like they removed the 2.5 number, which I understand why some people are using it, but I still don't think it was a good thing to be using for that. I could have missed one, yeah. Yeah, I probably missed one. So, like, Ufer's getting 41, 710. Oh, my Discord, okay. Let's look at Creation Showcase on my Discord. That's what brought me. What am I looking for? Let's see. Any more porn links that I have to boot off? This was a cool one by Ace. I like this loco. That was cool. I saw that earlier today. Good snub nose on there, 4-axle. That's cool. I like that. There's a DE2. I like these. Like, mine were larger like this, too, but they, I ended up, like, I could bring 1 container's worth of liquid. That's why I went to the smaller ones. It's good to see another DE2 up. Let's see, what am I looking at here? Got a, what am I looking at there, Citrus? How's it going there, Mr. Beep? How are you? Yeah, I had Alistair test it because I knew his was ready. He had already posted it to community build, so that way it was easy, and I didn't have to have somebody who wasn't actually ready or didn't have it in the workshop try to post it. Oh, I had that earlier, Mr. Beep. I couldn't decide what game I wanted to play. Tarkov decided for me when it wouldn't load, and I got killed by a cheater. If you like trains, Mr. Beep, I've been enjoying Derail Valley. That's been fun. Yep, Tripper, Steam's broken, doesn't work. It's all an illusion. You see people with Steam. The video? Okay, let me look at the video. Where is the video? Let's see. Oh, look at that little Johnny. Oh, it's got a wing on it. What is that? Is that Suzuki Carry or what is that? I can't tell. The badge. I was looking for the badge in the front. Got the old wing on there. Uh-oh. Airborne. Look at that mirror. That mirror's chonky. I finally put mirrors on my road train. That was good. Let's see. But I would say keep an eye out. Watch this official vehicle showcase start getting filled this week, next week, the week after that with the fishing boats. People have been building fishing boats for years. It's like when the people act like nobody wanted fishing, dude, I was like, that one blows my mind more than anything. Like, go over to JSI and, like, look at all the fishing boats. Look at JSI. Like, this is the morning, this morning. Like, this is before the announcement. Well, you know, we knew it was coming today, but, like, fishing boats, fishing boats, fishing boats, fishing boats. Like, this is, you know, people are going to be excited about it. Here's another great trawler on JSI. You know, it's like, this one came out last week. You know, like, this is what people have been waiting. A lot of people have been waiting for this. And again, not everybody, but like, again, an update doesn't have to be for everybody. There are plenty of updates that just aren't for a certain group of people. And there many people, ooh, look at that beautiful pillock cramp there. If you're in need of a pickup truck, trust the pillock cramp. That's not a fishing boat. Is it? I don't think it is. I don't know. It has the A-frame. It could be for a submarine. But a lot of, like, you'll see people putting out a lot of fishing boats in the next couple of weeks. You know, we've got a 3-week head start on building some of this stuff. You know, I think it's going to be pretty, you're going to see a lot of it, you know, and I think this is good. You know, I didn't think they were going to be able to do nets, and I'm excited about it. All right, played the video. Let's see, we're almost caught up, too. That's nice. Yeah, Suzuki Carry. I love a Suzuki Carry. That's probably the number 2. I want a Honda Acti. Let's see if I can find, what is it? Mini truck dealer. There's a huge mini truck dealer in Virginia, and I'm trying to find them. Is it minitrucks.net? No, I don't know what it is. Like, there's some that like you can buy them from Japan, and then they, you have to bring them over. It's better just to use, yeah, it's better just to use a company in the U.S. because they pre-register them. So, like, that's one of the new Hondas. Do not like the new Actis. Ugh, they look like little gross vans. Don't like that Mitsubishi anything. Here's a Suzuki Carry. That's what Citrus, based that off of. Suzuki Carry, panel van. Here's another Suzuki Carry. Here's a Honda. Nope, that's a Mazda Scrum. I couldn't tell the badge. Here's a Honda Acti. This is the years that I like. I like these Actis. I would love to get an Acti. It would be fun. What is that? Oh, that's a Daihatsu Hi-Jet. I couldn't read the Hi-Jet for a second there. I do not like this body style as a Hi-Jet. I could do without anything Mitsubishi, frankly. It looks like Suzuki Carry, yep. But yeah, so there's some, oh, that one's in Great Britain. Yeah, there's some cool mini trucks here. There's a Subaru Sambar. Here's a Acti. I love the Actis, though. A nice Acti would be really cool. That's what my mini trucks are based off, is the Acti. 4-speed manual. So, kind of cool little truckaroos. Unfortunately, we probably won't get the new Toyota in the U.S. because we don't get anything fun. We get the crap. We get big, overpriced, fat crap. Let me catch up with chat here. I like trains for stormworks, but can't use my engine because the fuel tank clips the ground. Yeah, like, I'd be interested. Show me some pictures there, Beaver. I'm interested because, like, mine, we're currently in the water base, so that's not helpful. Like, we took my DE6. I'll show you the route. We took this the other day. We took it from here up through here, up along the coast, up behind O'Neill, up here. We took it down on the loop, brought it south here. Where does it go? South up here, down. We went the southern route here, and then we came up to Komodo, continued down over here. Took that whole route. I was pretty much at 67 kilometers an hour the entire time with vehicle damage on. I didn't hit anything. We had no damage. So, and my shit's pretty slammed too. Let's look. We'll see how close the DE6. Like the DE6 is within one block. I even talked about this a little bit that day. I'm curious. Try running some hard axles on it, Ufer there. I think that the hard axles is helping because the game will let the pivots flex, and I think it's the flexing that's causing it hitting. Because like, look at how slammed to the ground this is. Like, this is not overly tall by any stretch of the imagination. This is within one block. The floppy dong literally hits the ground. The floppy dong had no damage. We're within one block there. The fuel tank is within one block, and I did not hit anything the entire trip. So I certainly understand it's not ideal, but I think it's the pivots. Try it without pivots. We have to have some sort of concessions where we say, yep, at some point it's a game. It's not perfect. They're not going to redo every bit of track on the whole map so somebody can use pivots. They're just not going to do it. It's too much expenditure for too small of a part of the audience to be able to do something that they want to do when you can do no pivot and not have a problem. So, are you having issues up here too? I'm curious. I've not run this trip in a while. I've not run the Arctic trip in a while. Are you hitting on the Arctic or are you hitting on the mainlands here? Because I think it's the pivots that are causing the problem. Like, I have no pivots. I have hard axles. So, it does do that jaggy movement, but it's like, that's the concession I've made to not hit the bottom. So, again, it's not perfect, but again, you kind of have to, we know it's nothing's ever going to be perfect, and we kind of have to realize that, some things we just can't do. Like, there's plenty of things, like we can't derail anymore. That sucks. I wish we could, but, I kind of just decided that, what, it sucks, can't do it. I get why they did it. I don't agree with it, but, I just kind of move on. Yeah, but are they going to do it, though? Like, are they going to go through every piece of track so that the small number of people who are using pivots for their axles can have a train that slammed. Like literally, like I said, I brought my train. We've gone on the train down the southern loop here on the D6. We went all through here with the D6. Damage on, no damage. Any of this area here. I've not gone this set here with the D6. I went up through here, south, up here. Pretty much every, I think that's every bit of track except here. I have not been up this loop on the D6. Been everywhere else, though. Literally everywhere else except the Arctic and this section here on the D6, and I've not hit. So I get it. It would be nice if it was perfectly as realistic as it was in real life, and we could make builds that were 100% realistic for real life. I get it. I would love that too, but it's just like we're never going to get there. And to have them spend all this time redoing the entire map. The other thing to understand too is I think they're a little bit hesitant to do things where we have to have a new save. People bitch every time they have to have a new save. And so is it worth the devs to go in and resculpt every piece of rail so that, you know, again, my build is one block off the ground and I haven't hit anything, so that people can put some pivots on and not hit the train, and then everybody in the game has to do a new save, or else it doesn't work anymore. So everybody has to do a new save for that. I don't think the devs want to do that, you know. Like, we're going to need new saves for fishing, and watch the bitch fest happen when people are like, I have to have a new save. It's like, yeah, dude, they put in new content. You got to have a new save. But, you know, personally, it wouldn't bother me. Like, if they resculpted the tracks to make them perfect, I would love it. But I don't think they're going to do it. And I look at the cost-benefit analysis, and I don't think the benefits outweigh the costs. You know, like, if you want, like, try that test. Take the pivots off, hard connect it, and, yeah, try it. Hard connect the axles and see if you still hit in the same spots. Like, one thing you could do is go ahead, you said it was on Sawyer, take a run down Sawyer and see where you hit. Mark it on the map. So say you hit right here. Okay, mark it on the map. Go in the add-on editor, spawn your train right here with hard axles with no pivots, and run the same thing at the same speed and see if you hit. Because if you do that test, let's say you hit here with your current train, you then spawn with an add-on your new train. It's the same train, but with instead of pivots on the axles, it has hard axles. Run it at the exact same speed, see if it hits. If it doesn't, you now have pretty much shown that it's the pivots causing the problem. I would do one more test. I'd put up the old train, run it again. Does it explode? Yes. Okay, so we know that the pivots have enough flexibility that it's causing the block to go down enough that it hits the ground, and then you know it's a pivot problem. And then at least you know what the problem is. Is it the pivots? Because, you know, like you see, my shit slammed to the ground. It's within one block of the ground, and I haven't hit anything yet. So I'm curious. I'm curious if it's the pivots. You know, maybe I'll do that test myself at some point. I'll put some pivots on my train. We'll see if it slams and hits. But, yeah, if you find a spot, Oofer, let me know. And that way at least I can mark it, and I'll do some tests at some point. What is the weather for you guys? Storm just rolled in for you. It's been sunny and nice today. Yeah, why don't you do that there, Oofer? That works. And, yeah, it doesn't matter. Send it however you want. I see it in the DMs now. Yep, thank you. My computer's blocking it. Can you just do a what's it called? Just do it as a workshop. My computer's blocking it. Just do a what do you call it? Unlisted workshop entry and send it directly to me. That way I can download it and nobody else can get it without the link. And then you can close it off once I have it. Because it doesn't want me to download that XML, so I don't think you'll send me a virus, but you know, again, my computer's booting it, and it hasn't done that before, so. Yeah, try doing, send me the workshop link. Just go ahead and put it as, if you don't want anyone else to have it, you just put it in as, what the hell is it called? Yeah, unlisted. Just put it in as unlisted, and then you can send the link, and only the people with the link, and then as soon as I get it, I'll tell you I get it, and you can even kill it if you want. So when it's going up the bridges, yeah, we even looked at this. I don't know if you were watching yesterday, but I was talking about that yesterday. Let's see. It still shows it's okay. There it is. It just came up. All right, thanks. I got it. Yeah, you can kill it if you want. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. But I've got it now. At first, it took a second for probably Steam doing its checks. All right, so there is a bridge right here. Let's see if we can find that. Let's see. In that location. It's probably the best spot. Let's see. Where are we at here? The other thing I was kind of talking about yesterday, too, is, for example, one test you might want to do, too, is you say, okay, and this could, like, one thing is, bugs suck. Having things not perfect sucks, but you can also, like, you can't change these things on your own, but you can change the way you react to it. And so, like, one thing that's kind of cool is if you said, like, for example, in real life, we cannot derail in game anymore. I think that sucks. It's unfortunate. I wish we could derail. I think that really sucks. But the only benefit I see with that is you say, okay, well, you used to have to, like, on this turn, you used to have to slow down. I might as well just go to Komodo if I'm going to do that. I was going to try to spawn it there. I can't find it. I'll just go to Komodo. It's a short ride to Komodo. What was I going to say? Like, we used to be able to derail. And so, like, there were certain spots, like, say, right, let's see, where's a big banger of a turn? So, like, say, right here. This is a hard turn. This is a big course reversal right here. You completely turn like this. So this is a prime area where you'd likely derail IRL if you're going too fast. Right, so before, when we used to actually be able to derail our trains, which, again, people complaining about trains derailing all the time is why we lost that functionality. Deb said the community doesn't like derailing trains. Let's screw it. Just take it out, And so, anyway, so that got lost. So, for example, you might, like, think of Derail Valley. I've been playing a lot of Derail Valley lately. There are certain areas where it's a really tight turn. You cannot go full speed. You say, okay, the fastest I can go on this part of the track is 20 kilometers an hour. So before, we used to have to worry about, okay, as you come up to this big hanger of a turn, I can only do 20 kilometers an hour. So I'm going 67 kilometers an hour. Bingo, I got to slow down, go 20, speed back up, okay? And so now we don't have that. So, for example, the other thing to test, too, is if I go slow enough, will I not hit? And so the way you could turn this, this shitty design or bug or whatever you want to call it, unrealistic thing, into maybe even some more, like, fun is you say, I know that this part of the track, I have to go slower. And the fastest speed I can go is 30 kilometers an hour. So when I get close to the spot, I slow down. It does, like, the one benefit I get from not having to do, let me just quickly get this spawned. The one benefit I see from not being able to derail is, like, yesterday I was able to talk to chat, read chat, and I just let the train go. That is beneficial sometimes. And I think the best thing that the devs could add is put a button right here on the axles that says derail. And we press the button and we can derail. And what we could do is you put a physics sensor, right? Real simple. Physics sensor. You take the angular momentum off of the physics sensor. And at a certain angular momentum, it sends a signal to the track, to the wheels to derail. And you could put that on each car, and so each car would naturally and realistically derail at a certain angular momentum. If you slow down, right, the angular momentum decreases, so you can take a tight turn slow, and it won't derail. You take a tight turn fast, it derails. I think that would be a cool feature the devs could add. That would also make it possible for me to do those vehicles, like I had before, where you could put them on the land, and you could also put them on the tracks. I think that would be cool. Do you want me to run this backwards? Or do you want me to flip it? I'll flip it. Screw it. I'll flip it. Won't take long to flip it. Here, let me see. It's going to be a pain in the ass, isn't it? Okay, let's undo that. It's because it's I don't have it exactly even. That's why it's doing that. I don't have the whole thing exactly even, so it's being a pain in the ass. What the fuck is it doing? All right, screw that. We'll go backwards. I'll run it the other way if I need to. All right. So here's Ufa's build here. What's that? Release coupler. Okay. All right, what's that? Looks like a door to me. Right, master power. Auxiliary power we'll leave off unless we need it. Systems. Engine mode. Switch. Don't need a slave, I'd say, right? Are we pretty much good to go here? Let's see. No bell. Brake, train brake, independent brake, alert or reset. Okay. No H menu. All right. Let's see. What are we doing for throttle? Oh, dynamic brake and throttle. Okay. Right, how do I go in reverse here? Oops, need to quickly do this. Let me see. Horn, sand, function bell. See, how do I go reverse? How do I go backwards there, Oof. Oh, Canuck there. Employ Alistair to work on it. Looks good. Okay, no reverse yet. Shit. I think we have a bridge up there, don't we? Close? No, maybe not. Okay. Let me see if I can bring this in with an add-on. That way I can test it over and over again. Let's find the add-on. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do repeatable tests with an add-on. That way I can place it where I want on the tracks, too. I'm trying to get it right before the bridge and just hammer it in. Straight train horizontal. Let me see. Trying to find it. Let's go to Sawyer. It's right here. That's it there. Okay. Bingo. That was a find. Yeah, I actually, it was funny. We were looking at this train bridge the other day for this very reason, talking about how the, like, as an example of what could be causing the problem is that is where I would say is one of the steeper sections is right there. We can actually move like this now, which was an improvement they put in a couple weeks ago. Trying to make sure it adheres to the tracks fine. Once they get on, they'll still grab the tracks. So let's see. Okay. That should be good. Let's go ahead and save this. Let's do... Okay, let's go ahead and I'll just fly my ass over there. Zing, zing, zing. So this is repeatable. We should be able to test this out and see if this is it. Because, like, you know, does it suck? Like, I would have loved to put pivots on all my axles as well. Because if you watch, me run the train the other day, it wiggles, and I would rather if it didn't wiggle. But one of the reasons I do that is for stability, so that I don't have to worry about the stability of it. Where the hell is it? That was it, right? The hell are we? Yeah, there it is. Okay, it popped up after I already moved. All right, so we are, looks like, on the tracks. Yeah, see, like, you're super slammed. No, you're one block. That's still one block. Still the same distance mine is. Your starter procedure is a little less annoying than mine. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Let's do that. Okay. All right, well, I can't back up, so we'll slam through here. Can't back up, unfortunately. Yeah, we're right at the crest of the hill. Shit. I'm going to hammer through, see if we hit. Let's make sure vehicle damage is on, as you can see. That's also kind of an insane speed, too. Alright, so, like, did you see what happened? Like, the axles wigged out because they're on pivots, too. So let's try that, run that again. The axle's full on wigged out. Watch the back axles. The back axle's wigged out. Plus, what speed were we going? We're going an insane speed on that one. Let's, let me see if I can find what the speed is. We'll see what speed we're going. I'm going to do the exact same thing again. I want to see what speed we had. Where is it? Do you have a... Which one's speed there? So what I would recommend that I did on my train is if you... So the axles are the same size. So they're 3.33 meters in circumference. And so, like, what speed do you want this train to go max there, Oofer? So here, I'm going to go, and then watch what happens to the rear axle. Because remember, it's on a pivot, right? So the pivot, it has flexibility, which is going to cause... That's going to be annoying. Ugh. Like, watch what happens. See it wigging out and going crazy there? Now you hit a turn, and you derailed. And now they put it in there so the game can't derail. So, okay, so that is us going crazy. Let's go at a reasonable speed and see what happens. So we've done it twice. Let's do a reasonable speed and see what happens with that. Because, again, you know, theoretically, you shouldn't be able to go around every turn at 300 miles an hour. Not that we were going 300 miles an hour, but you know what I'm saying. You know, some of these turns you kind of got to say, okay, like in real life, right, they'd have speed signs, and you know that on this part of the track, we need to slow down, just like in derail, right? In derail, we know going on the southern pass, you got to go slower. So, like, one of the things that I like that gives derail some depth is you get to start to learn the contours of the tracks. You know where the dangerous parts of the tracks are. So that's probably speed right there, right? What units is that in? That's not meters per second. That's got to be kilometers an hour, maybe, or miles an hour. All right, so let's say this turn is a... Let's say this turn's even at... What are we at here? 82 kilometers an hour. So that's where we wrecked last time. What speed are we doing? We're doing down to 30 there. But look at the angle of this turn too. Like that's a complete like you're gonna put yourself in the drink if you hit that turn too fast, right? So what are we stuck on here? Stuck on something here. So something right there. Let's put my train through this. So we're stuck on something there. So, like, that's probably where it caught, I would say. I think that spot where we hit was where we caught. So we made it through there, going a reasonable speed, and didn't damage. Let's, like, hammer again through here. Like, we were going between, what? It was 70 at the high end, and then it was 33 when I checked it again at the low end. What unit is this? Miles per hour? Yeah, so we're going 120 miles an hour. Now, one, freight trains don't go 120 miles an hour. Two, like, I was actually watching a video last night on the Acela, which is the U.S.'s fastest train. And the Acela can get up to 120 miles, but only on 10% of the route. And the reason is because the U.S.'s rail is terrible. But most of it's freight rail, because that's where they make most of the money is on freight. And so when they do civilian passenger rail, they have to lease the freight rail. So you're going on these windy freight rails, so only 10% of the Acela's route can be at 120 miles an hour. Most of it is at freight speeds, which is, say, sub 50 miles an hour. So, like, you know, do I think it's something that they need to redo the entire track for? So you know, like, we're going 137 miles an hour? Is that? Yeah, it looks like we're going 137 miles an hour. So we're currently going 137 miles an hour. We haven't had an issue. Personally, you know, again, do I think the devs are going to redo all the rail? No. Do I think it's a good use of their time? Do I think they'd better... There, we just hit something there. What did we hit there? All right, so we hit there. So let's mark that on the map. Right, where are we at here? Right here. Okay. So that's... We hit there. This is a spot right here. Like, the other thing you can do is, they're not going to redo all the rail, but if you can find some spots that are iffy, like here and there, and then you put in a detailed bug report where you tell them here and there. But the other thing I would do is they're going to ask you for your save file, which, again, you know, just so send that in. And then I would also put in your build because, you know, they might just tell you it's your build. Let's go ahead and play with something. Let's do my train real quick. So let's go add-on editor back. All right, so let's see how fast I can hammer through. Now, my train does not go 200 miles an hour. My train goes, you know, about what it would go, you know. So we can also, if you want, we can do the math and get your train to perform where it should be, and we can actually gear it down so that it's stronger. It'll be stronger to pull, and it will also, you know, be realistic with math, and then it can't overspeed, so... If you want me to work on it. Let's go ahead and paste that. Let's go ahead and save that. And let's go ahead and load it. So we'll test those two spots with my train, which is a fixed axle. Then we'll make yours a fixed axle. And we'll see if that solves it. But taking it slow definitely helped. We did blow up on that area. We were going still over speed. It's hard to tell how fast we were going. I wasn't in the cab. But we're still like a good hammer at that spot. We're going 137 miles an hour, which a little bit on the fast side, I would say, for a freight train. Like, what's the max speed of that train IRL? Because I can figure out the math on that. Yeah, because like, you know, I think it's more likely if you gave them an exact spot on the tracks, like gave them GPS coordinates on the tracks, I think it's a hell of a lot more likely they fix that spot of the track, then redo all the track. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's go forward. Let's hammer it out. All right, I'm going to go full speed on mine. So we were doing 67 kilometers an hour last time with cars. We're doing 71 kph now. All right, so there's 71 kph. Watch, we're going to go through this. It's going to be gross. 75 miles. Okay, yeah. 75 miles an hour, I think, is reasonable. You know, because we were going 137 miles an hour on some of that track. We were going 70 miles an hour through there. Like, IRL, I think we both know that on that hard turn right next to the ocean, you are not going 75 miles an hour in a freight train on that, you know. So here we are going 72 kilometers an hour. This is the bad spot right here. It could have something to do with the switch. Let's see if mine gets hung up here. Nothing. No problem. So it would not surprise me if it's the pivots. And the reason I'm saying that too is I think that the axles are, if you have a triple axle, they're centrally gripped essentially. So like the other two are not actually doing much. And so that could be part of it too. Let's let this run for a second. All right, so say 75 miles an hour. Let's do a quick conversion here. Oh, come on. All right, so 75 miles an hour is 120 kilometers per hour. So we were up to 137 miles an hour when we hit up here. So I think we can both agree that that is way too much. You know, we know that's about double what you want it to be maxed out at. So I would say we probably can all agree that that is too much for a freight train to be going. You know, again, a high-speed rail is like, let me find the Acela link. All right, so like I'm reading from now, the Acela is the U.S.'s fastest train, which of course is put to shame by every other train in the world. But the average speed over the entire route is 70.3 miles per hour. Several speed restrictions where they have to go between 60 and 80. Some of the old bridges, they have to go 60 to 80. The top speed of the Acela is 137 miles per hour. Again, that's a high-speed train doing that on purpose-built high-speed rail, which is a portion of the trip. So, you know, I also don't think it's unreasonable to say, okay, yeah, we just had a pretty straight shot there. And we saw with your train, you could go 137 miles an hour most of this area by the rocks here. But once you come up to the turns, you got to slow down. So we know that real trains have high-speed sections and slow-speed sections. Like the Acela, when it goes through cities, it has to slow down because it's going on rails that other trains are going on. Plus, you also don't want a train going through your city necessarily that's not designed for high-speed rail at 150 miles an hour, because if the train derails, you now have, you know, thousands of tons going 130 miles an hour. If it hits a building, it's going to knock the building down, you know. So you don't want that either. So what we'll do is we'll run this test really quick with mine, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put hard axles on yours, and we'll run it, and we'll see if that fixes it. Because personally, I think it's a reasonable concession, one, to slow down a little bit when you know there's a trouble section of the track. I know it sucks when it blows up. That sucks, you know. And I can imagine that. You know, you've taken all this time to hook your train together. You've got all your equipment on there, and you're like halfway through your journey, and boom, the train blows up. I know that sucks. Well, like, you could also come up with this part of the tracks, we got to slow down. This one's a little weird to me here, where it had a problem here. So I'd say absolutely this is probably a legitimately weird spot of the track. But again, did the devs ever anticipate people putting these on pivots? You know, because, you know, unfortunately we never get anything from, you know, they never tell us, hey, you know, we intend you to build this on pivots or not. But, you know, a lot of that could be that. I don't think it's the height of your train that's a problem. I think it's, if you notice, the back axles started wigging out because they're on that pivot so they can flip and flap. And once they get flipping and flapping and oscillating, the game just freaks out. It doesn't know what to do. And then it blows it up. You know, like here's that section that caused yours. I think it was right around the switch, wasn't it? Was it at the switch when it freaked out? I think it was at the switch. So, like, that's a consistent 71 kilometers an hour, which, yeah, it's slow, but, you know, it's not terrible. Let's see what 71 is in miles an hour. So that's 44 miles an hour. So, not insanely slow. You know, I purposely made mine a little on the slower side for fuel efficiency's sake. You know, I had it up over 100 something and didn't have any problems. We could run it, you know, 100 kilometers an hour. All right, so let's let that run. It's going to get taken back when I do the add-on anyway. All right, let's play with yours a second and see what we can do. You know, so I also don't think it's unreasonable to say, hey, you know, a couple spots in the tracks I know are kind of hairy. We'll pretend those are slow speed zones, which they are, right? You go slow, you don't blow up. You go fast, you do. The other thing, too, is I think it's reasonable to say, you know, get rid of the pivots. Like, I don't have pivots on mine. It was a personal choice not to do it for this very reason, is to just give more stability. Because, like, this is your main body right here, right? The red is your main body. These are subgrids. This is going to be the part that stays most stationary. These are the parts that are going to most move. You know, so, like, let's do this real quick. Where is the... So this is your power up connection right there, I'd say, right? So let's delete that. What were you... Let me check the settings on this, too. Max power 0. Yep, that's what I figured. Figured it was just a max power 0 situation. All right, and then what is that about? Okay, that's the clutch going to there, so that shouldn't need any playing with. And then that's there. Okay. Just do pinkies here. So, you know, again, in a perfect world, I'd absolutely agree. Like, just make the track so that anything that we ever built works. But, you know, I don't think that's going to be realistic, you know. I would love it if everything was perfect, but, you know, it's just, I don't think that's realistic. And I think for the benefit that you get. Like, my train didn't look all that weird not having any pivoted axles, and I think it's a lot more stable. Let's save this real quick. All right, let's go back to the add-on editor. Let's go ahead, edit the objects. Let's go, excuse me, pardon me. Let's get rid of my Johnny. Let's get rid of your Johnny. Let's bring up the one that I just made. All right, so this one has the hard axles on it. Let's test this. I'm going to run it at full speed and see what it does. And if it doesn't blow up in the same spots, we kind of, know that it's likely the pivots. So at least we've narrowed it down. And then you can make the decision, do you screw with the pivots? Like, if you're going to put in a bug report, I think that's fine. Like, if the devs know there's a specific spot on the tracks that is a problem, I think that's reasonable for them to take time and work on it. I don't think it's reasonable to say, devs, redo the, and I'm not saying you would say this, but, like, there are people who will say, like, devs, fix the trains. That's literally all they'll say, and it's like, imagine if you got that as a bug report, like, what do you mean? But let's head over there, and then we'll run this with hard axles and see if it works. Because I don't think it's like, yes, is hard axles a little bit less realistic? Yes. Is it a game and you have to say, yeah, it's not a train simulator. We kind of have to have some concessions that we can build planes and trains and boats, and I have to have a hard axle on my train. I don't think that's an unreasonable concession for us as builders to make either. So we'll test it out, see what it does. All right, let me see. Are we on the tracks? It appears we are on the tracks. Okay. Take down the brakes. All right, so we're definitely on the tracks. Full clip here. Damage is on. We're going at an insane speed. What are we doing? 200 miles an hour. So we're going 200 miles an hour. This is where we blew up. Okay, so I'm glad we can still derail, though. I'm thrilled that we can actually still derail. I thought we were completely fucked on derailing, but we're not, so that's good. I'm happy we can derail if we act like jackasses. All right, let's grab it again. Let's go. So you said 75 miles an hour is a speed. I would agree. I think 75 is too much for that turn IRL. I'm perfectly reasonable. I think it's perfectly reasonable to expect in game we can go a little bit faster than we could in real life, just for the fantasy element of it, and people don't want to spend all day doing these things, so I get that. Let's go at 75 miles an hour and see if we make the turn at 75. Okay. So there's 90. Drop it off a little bit. Trying to slow down here. Right, so we're going 200 miles an hour last time. We're doing 114. See if we can make it at 114. So this is almost double what you wanted. Okay, this is almost double what you wanted. We're still at over 100 miles an hour going around curvy bends, and we didn't blow up or come off the tracks. So I think that's a reasonable concession. Personally, if I were you, I would just get rid of the pivots. I think, what you're doing is by adding subgrids, you're making it more likely that it's going to freak out because, again, the red part's the part that's going to get the most, the highest fidelity of physics. Any part below that is going to get less fidelity physics. So you have the two axles on lower priority subgrids. What are we going now? We're going 106 miles an hour still. So let's run this run at 106 miles an hour. That's, quite a bit more. That's 50% faster about than what you said you would think is fine for your maximum speed. Do we have a problem here? No, we didn't have a problem here. It was just the one up ahead of me. So personally, I think this is, if this fixes it, I would just do this. Their Oofer. Is it perfect? No. But again, I think you're going to pull your hair out blowing this sucker up every time you go out for a run. And if you can fix it by just getting rid of two pivots, I think that's a good way to just say, hey, small little concession I have to make, and I'm not, getting my ass kicked all the time. 105 miles an hour coming up to where we had issues last time. Let's see if it has issues. It was right around the switch, I believe. You know, so 200 miles an hour, you cannot take a tight turn. Okay. We expect that, right? I would say, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that. Let's see, do we... Okay, we hit there. What did we hit? I want to know what we hit. So let's stop. We hit something in the front. Oh, that's the wrong fucking way. There we go. Let's see what we hit. I was trying not to blow up again because I don't know if that's because of the damage, and now I don't know what we damaged. So we hit something in the front. I could see it was this front right here we hit. I'm trying to see what the hell it was. What did we... See, I can't see what the hell we hit because... I can't see what the hell we hit. That sucks. See if we have add-on closer. Let's see if we can get an add-on closer here to that spot. Because I don't want to take the run every 2 seconds. Let's see. So these are the kind of tests I like to run because it's like, okay, we have mine as the control. We know mine makes it around fine. So we know there's some difference between yours and mine. And we can try to figure out what that difference is. And then you can determine how important that difference is to you. You know, if it's something that's super important to you that you don't want to lose in your build, then you say, okay, well, that's a breaking point for me. I don't want to lose that. I'm not going to lose that. And then you can say, you know, then I need to do something else to get around that. So we'll see where this is breaking. I could see the damage was up front here, so you might be able to do something on that front. But I think we've demonstrated that part of it is if you can... I think the solid axles are more reliable, I would certainly say. Let's find this. You know, I think I'm pretty confident in saying that at this point. Where is it? It's not going to populate till I get close. Shit. Hoping it's right there. I don't know where it is. It's hard to see where the hell it's supposed to be. Damn it. Where is it? I can't tell. It's somewhere on the rock wall here, I think. You suck. Where is it? 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 All right, let me try to find a better spot for it. Let's see where it is. Is this it? No, there's no water there. Was there? No, there's no water. There's no lake. Could be this. Let's see. That's it. Right there. Okay, this is this it? Damn it. Let me see. Let me find us where the hell we are here. Tell by the trees. No, that wasn't it. That's down the other section there. I bet it's on that other section. I'm just trying to look at this terrain and find this spot here. Drop, drop, drop. Thanks. Let's find the spot here. That is not it. That's on the other rock wall area, so... That's why I couldn't find the loco, it was not there. This is close, I believe. This is just north of that spot right there. So let's put the loco right here. So there's something on your front right that hit first. So what I want to do is I want to slam that and see what broke. I was trying to get the train stopped fast enough to see what the hell broke. And I was not quick enough. And then it kept breaking because other parts were hitting the ground. So try to hopefully we get this in there. It should be... Fuck. Is that where it is? Where are we at? Yep, right there. Perfect. I thought I had found it. All right, so let's look at it real quick, what we've got hanging off this. I would say some of these are pushing your luck. You know, my front goes down pretty low, but it doesn't stick out this much. So let's see where it blows up. You know, I think what happened, too, is when this blew up, it damaged the pivot, and that hit the ground, and then that's what caused the further damage. So let's give it a little run and see what it does. You know, so the other thing, too, is we're running 100 miles an hour, and you said you'd be happy with 75. So, you know, testing it to see, does it blow up at 75 is another thing, too, because, again, you know, real-life trade... You know, fuck, we can't go backwards, can we? God damn it. Shit, we can't go backwards. All right. Let's just see if I hit something here, and I want to see what hits. Okay, right there. Stop, 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 stop. See what hits. I can't see because it did that. Let me see. It's not hitting the fuel tanks. We know it hit here last time, so... Like, is it the end of the world to raise that one? Like, again, at the end of the day, you're going to have to make some concessions. It's a game. You have to make some concessions. So, personally, I would make... I think we got better performance when we went to solid axles. And I would personally raise some of this shit up. This is like, that's hairy to the ground. It does stick over further than mine. I would, you know, they're not going to redo all the tracks so somebody can make their train exactly like the way they want it. It's just not going to happen, you know. It's a hell of a lot of work for like a small number of people, you know, and that's just, you know, we got to accept that. Like, there are certain things that I want the game to do that I know that a small number of people are going to want and are never going to happen for me. Like, look at this, too. Like, does this whole section move? You got a couple spots here, which I think are probably prime for hitting. I recalled it in the base, didn't I? There it is. Like this right here. Let's look at it in the editor. I think this motor here has a real good chance of hitting. Like, look at that. This here is all, like, prime hitting right there. Like, this, because it's curved, I think should phase through all right. This, I don't think wants to hit. This thing is going to hit. So, like, I would personally give yourself a little breathing room here. Like, you're fine in the back here. I don't think you're going to hit too much there. That's, like, this isn't too bad there. Like, the other thing you can do is this. XML edit some of this shit. So, like, right here you have 1x4s, right? Okay, so do this. Go like that. Grab. Now I'm in workshop. Do I have a 3x3y, 1x2x3? There's a 1x3. So grab these. So this is a trick you can do to make it look the way you want, but get rid of the friggin' collisions low. So like come in here. These are 1x3 XML'd in, right? The collision's here. So put that like this. All right. All right, so now you have that. It looks as low as you want it, but this has no collision here. This is not going to hit the ground right here. This can't hit the ground. So you can do something like that to get that up off the ground. I don't think this is a problem here. I think the main thing is like this right here is iffy. So like you could do the same thing I just did there. Like come here. Like if you're set, you want this design, go like this. Cut all of this shit out here like that. All right, let's go here. Like, say that's right where you want it. You don't want it any higher than that, okay? That's fine. I agree with that. That's fine. Go in here, grab a block. Let me see if I should have a block here. Let's see. What do we got here? This is a 3 block right here. So take an XML 3 block. So XML is not just for cosmetics. Go like this, right? And you wanted this to be there, right? So go, you know, you can even put one friggin' block and XML it all the way across if you wanted. So like anyways, do something like that, right? And now your collision is, none of this has a collision. None of that has a collision anymore. So you've raised your collision up by 1 block, but you still have the look you want. So you don't have to get rid of the look you want. And then I know I don't have a 4x4, but take a 1x1, right? So like take a 1x1. Let's see. Will this work as a 1x4? It should. So let's go ahead, start it. Let's see here. I'll just save this my edit real quick. What are we doing here? I gotta get rid of block. There we go. Okay. Did I just save that or not? Did it actually save or not? There we go. It didn't give me the overwrite. There we go. So then, like, if you took this... Four by four wedge on that. Let's go ahead and I will quickly XML edit that. Like, you can pretty much have this look identical to how it is and just get rid of the friggin' collisions that are touching the ground. And then you don't even have to change how it looks, right? You can have it exactly the way you want. What's that? That's regular block. Pyramid right here. Let's try, I think they're the -1 faces. Let's go -4. -4. All right, there's your 1x4 block that we had before, right? Let's grab the edit back. So, like, there's some things you can do, you know, to even have it look exactly how you had it before if you want. And it, you know, and it's you can do it with XML. Now you're not going to have those collisions because the collision is up here. It's really high. And so, like, all that shit won't hit the ground now because it's all, you know, it's all faked out. And, you know, it's not like it's just not going to work anymore. It should work fine, right? Where am I at here? I did the XML wrong, but, you know, you could do it the XML correctly. I did the XML wrong, but just as kind of proof of concept, like, go like that, right? And now you've got the block you want. None of this has collision under here anymore. How did that not save? I literally just saved all that shit and it didn't save. Gotta be kidding me here, man. What the hell? Why did none of that save? You guys watched me save that, right? I'm not losing my brain, am I? But yeah, that's what I would personally do is, like, go through here, XML that out so there's no collision on the bottom. That should buy you a space because I saw it for a quick second. This was what was destroyed, was the right side right here hit. And the longer this is out, of course, this is going to hit first. So you should be able to XML edit this stuff to be there. You're probably hitting right here, and this is exploding and then blowing up the rest of the shit. Like, you can even go into further testing where you go like this, where you cut out all the stuff here, and you go just for this corner piece, and you see, does it blow up the same way it did last time? And if it does, you know it's hitting this corner. You put an XML 4x4 in there, and now you have no collision on the bottom row, and now you stop hitting things. So I would try all that stuff. You know, would it be great if you didn't have to do that stuff? Of course. But this, you know, it's not real life. It's the game. They've already resculpted the tracks once when they put in Industrial Frontier. Are they going to put on hold all of their fishing projects they have coming? Are they going to put on hold the sales? Are they going to put on hold not stormworks 2 so that they can change the tracks so that some people's trains, not everybody's trains, but some people's trains don't have issues? I would say probably not, you know. Like, literally, you know, you saw the other day when I was doing my train, you know, I had damage on the whole time, and it was because of your comment that I wanted to test it. We went from here all the way up, down here, across, O'Neill, up here, through the loop, back, down, all the way through here, 67 kilometers an hour the entire way, because we had full cars on there. And then we went 67 kilometers an hour all down here, and I did not have one explosion, one damaged block the whole way. And, you know, again, my train's not like sitting ridiculously high. You know, it's got some spots that aren't as low as yours, but I don't think this is ridiculous. You know, this is on scale for the train that I built. You know, like that, like, look at how far mine is in front of the wheels, but I don't have blocks, you know. My blocks are within 1 of the ground, and I didn't hit anything, so... You know, I think you can make some design choices where you don't even have to change the aesthetics by adding some XML and I would get rid of the pivots. It's just asking for trouble. You know, you see a lot of people, they add pivots all over the builds, and I think it's just asking for trouble. Game has a little bit of a slowdown. The lower hierarchy physics bodies are going to just experience some problems. So that's what I would do. Cut some of those front blocks, put in XML. Just, if you really want the look of it, do XML. You know, that's the greatest part about XML is you're cutting out the collisions. That's what I like XML for. Like, I don't do a ton of it myself, but what I do use it for is to get rid of those collisions. Why do I... It said I had 5 messages on Discord. I just go to Discord. I have none. Okay. Oh, it is from Oofer. Okay, I see them now. Blows up there. Yeah, so the other thing I would do, too, is... So this is what the devs are going to want. Like, if you look at their bug reports, like, even if you were going to put up a bug report, they're going to want your build because, like, this is what I would do as a developer. I would say, okay, we built the game. You guys build the vehicles, all right? I need a copy of your vehicle, and I will go test your vehicle. But then what's going to happen is it's going to end up being, they're going to say, okay, well, let's test another vehicle. They test another vehicle. This vehicle doesn't blow up. This one does. So right there it tells them, hey, one person's design has no problems in our game. One person's design has a ton of problems in our game. And then it becomes more, it is on your end. And I get that it sucks that you can't build exactly how you want. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to say, you know, are they going to go tear the game apart and potentially break a lot of other builds to satisfy yours? And I'd say the answer is no, you know. And I think that's reasonable. I don't think it's an unreasonable thing, you know. I'm just checking some of the sections. Yeah, so I'd try some of those things. Let me catch up on chat. I know you probably said some of the stuff already, but I haven't caught up on chat. I haven't really looked at chat since. Let me catch up on chat, guys. You know, it's hard for me to, like, go through chat at the same time I'm doing the testing because I forget what I'm trying to test and I forget some ideas I have. So let me quickly go through. But I think we learned some good stuff on that. I think XML helps. Okay. Let me catch up on chat, guys. Yeah, I would like, so one thing we showed today too is you can derail. We went 200 miles an hour, so I thought derailing was completely toast. I think was it Citrus? Did you say that you were able to derail? Like, going ridiculous speeds, yeah, like, that was 200 miles an hour, guys. Some people are like, things are slow. And I'm not saying any of you guys, but, like, some people will say, oh, it's super slow. And it's like, well, what is super slow to you? Anything under 200 miles an hour. It's like, dude, it's a fucking freight train. You know, they don't go 200 miles an hour. And so the devs always have this balancing point, which they can never come up with a perfect thing because we all want different things. And it's like, do we make it so it's 100% realistic so that if you go over 25 miles an hour on this stretch of track, you derail? No, that's too low. Okay, well, what's too high? 75? Can we go 75 on this really windy part of track that you would never be able to go 75 in real life? Sure. Okay, can you go 200? Absolutely friggin' not. You know, and so I think there is always a balance point there too. Yeah, part of it is just the weight. Like, what's my loco weigh? Look at I'm looking at Beaver's comment about weight. This locomotive weighs 8361, so that's 16,000 pounds. I don't know what these weigh. This particular one would weigh in real life, but let me see. I think it was what is it in derail? Let me look at derail. I can look it up in derail. It has the mass on there. 125 tons. So this should weigh 125 tons. This weighs 4 tons. No, well, it depends metric tons. It would weigh 8. It would weigh 8 tons. Yeah, this weighs 8 tons. Metric ton. I'm going between imperial and metric, so we'd say about 8 metric tons. Yeah, it's about right on the money for 8 metric tons. It's a little bit shy of 8 metric tons. But, so this is 8 tons. The real one's 125 tons. That's one of the reasons why we don't have a lot of momentum with stuff is, again, we don't have the weight that we would have IRL. You could build systems in, like, see if I can get what the momentum looks like on this. You could build some systems in there where, like, you can use PIDs where it more slowly responds to your throttle inputs so that it doesn't do that. And it will actually continue. Like, when I had this full-on diesel electric, it would take a while for it to slow down. And so, because it's still using the residual power off of the spinning generator, would keep powering the unit. So like there's 100% throttle. Let's take it down. All right, there's my throttle going down. We're at 0. So you can see mine's got some momentum left on it. We're still moving. Like, would we move in real life further? Yes, of course we would. But like, I've been at 0 throttle for a while here. We're still slowing down. So part of it is design. You can design these things in as well. Would it be perfect if you didn't have to? Yeah, I get it. But again, you know, we need, you know, they're using the same blocks for an airplane, which should be made out of aluminum, that they're using for a boat, which should be made out of steel. You know, I would love it if they added steel blocks and aluminum blocks, because we could build a ship with steel blocks on the base of the hull and aluminum blocks on the superstructure. We could do aluminum for an airplane. We could do steel blocks for a train. I love that, but you know, they're not going to do it. It's just they could do it in a new game. I think they'd be game for a new game, but not to rebuild the game for that, you know. Out of all the locomotives I've made, which is my favorite, for me, D6, I'd say. Okay, I'm finally catching up to where I think I was reading last time. Yeah, I like the weathering on top of your loco. That looked good. Making it Swedish. Citrus says, "Holy Jesus, yes, my son. Are you calling for me?" I'm just catching my check, guys. Yeah, I'll get back to Vehicle Showcase in a second. Let me just, 75 miles an hour, okay. All right, so 75. Let me do the math for you real quick on 75 miles an hour. That's a piece of cake. Goldwing by the book will do 125. I have not done 125. Let's put it that way. I will not say how fast I have gone, but I will not admit to anything. The fastest I've ever gone in real life in a vehicle that I was operating legally was over 666 knots. Was the fastest I've ever been in a vehicle I was operating. Let's put it that way. Legally. Yeah, like 80 kilometers an hour around there is where I have mine set. Mine could go faster. Mine was up to 178 kilometers an hour, which I don't even know what that is. And silly freedom units. 110. That's 110 miles an hour. But I geared it down to control my speed, you know. And because I don't want my loco to go unrealistically fast. For me, I don't need it to go that fast because I feel it's unrealistic. How's it going there, Veronica? How are you? So it can go. Yeah, Sella. Yeah, it shows top speed in the wiki is 135. They probably put it on some open track and got there, but then they have to what's legal for the track segments. So they might be going off with the legal track segment. All right, we'll see you later, Citrus. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I keep running it and see what happens. Did you ever knock out those stalling issues? Yeah, it was. I was overloading the engine. I had put the gear ratios up too high, and it was overloading the engine. That was all it was. Yeah, it's not doing it anymore. Yeah, I ran it. When I ran it around the loop, you saw it wasn't doing it. Yeah, I never got to the fishing boat. I'll probably work. I was actually kind of thinking I wanted to do it as episode 2 of Captain's Workshop. So I'll probably end up doing it as Captain's Workshop. Let's look at the UFAs real quick here. I'm probably not even going to start on the fishing boat. We'll see. Let's grab, it's my edit. Okay, that's my edit so far. This doesn't have any of these stuff. I don't know why it didn't save. That's funky. All right, let me look at this too. Why is this? So the other thing I would do too, personally, on your fuel tank is this. I would go like this because this is both realistic and it's, you know, I don't know. I don't know the exact model, but I would go like this with half blocks. And the reason I like doing that is the half blocks have smaller collisions. I think you cut down the likelihood you're going to catch an edge too. So try that. Like, that doesn't look unreasonable like that. And that should help it not catch the edge. It's not as sharp of an edge. I would do that personally because that's less likely to catch. Like, you can like have two wedges that go through each other because the collision is smaller. I would try that as well. What was I going to do? Let's look at the gearing. What is that? At the gearboxes. Okay, that's the large there running to, holy Jesus, what is in there for an engine? I was counting cylinders, I lost count. Let's see what you're running here. Okay, that's engine out, that's down. See, they're pointing towards the engine. Let's gear down. I'll do the math first, and then I'll updo it a little bit. So you said 75. So let's see. So let's see, 75 divided by 3.33 is 22.5. What? No. 22.5. So 22. That's going to be big. That's a 3131 there. There's your reverse. You shouldn't need a reverse because you're using an electric motor too, so shouldn't need that. That's 3-1 there. Okay, that's 3-1, 3-1. That's a 9. So this is going to be faster than you initially said you wanted it, but we'll play with this. Let me get rid of my loco there that's sitting in the tracks causing problems. All right, let's try this. So that's down geared by 9 to 1. It should be down geared by 22 to 1. So that should give us about 70. So I'd say if we can get it around 21 to 1, I think we're good there. Trying to hit random buttons here. I don't know what to do. Come on, go down. All right, so this is now capped. Okay, I did the math wrong. Yeah, I didn't multiply it. That's why we're fucked now. Okay. Let's go to let me see. What were we hitting before? We're hitting high 7s, so we'd say about third. Let's run it like a 3 to 1 and start there. I did the math wrong. I didn't multiply out, so we're having issues here. Let's go with 3 to 1 on that. Jesus, I walked into the build as it was spawning. Like, that is hairy, too. Oh. You don't want to be going through there at full speed. Yeah, like the pivots, they let the vehicle slide left and right, and that's what's causing some of these issues is vehicle slides left, right, and now it can hit stuff that it normally couldn't hit. I'm literally pushing on this button. Why do you go up throttle? All right, so that's 43. Okay, let's up it again. Let's go. We want, let's say, not quite double that. That's a 1.8. The paint job looks good, though. It's a lot easier to start than mine. Mine was a pain in the ass running through tests when I have to go in the back and shut off hand valves and everything else to test it. How's it going there, Sergeant? Good to see you. Why do you need more stormworks creators for? I just need me. Now, it's always good to have more people because, you know, certain people don't like my shit and they like other people's shit, so it's always good to have more. You know, always better to have people give people a bunch of options to watch. So that right there is 72 in full thing. So we've also down geared. The other benefit, I don't know if you were watching the other day, Beaver, when I did it. Here, let's let that run. If it hits something, we'll see it as a big smoldering pile of oil. And we'll be able to check it out when it hits. I'll try to catch up to it before we get to spy cakes. So if we look at this test here, I showed everybody this the other day. The other thing it's going to do for you is, where the hell is it? It's pink. I should be able to see it. Giggity. Where the hell are you? There it is, right there. So this test here, we did this the other day. Again, these motors are running on these batteries. This will tell you how long it takes for them to run out of battery. This one is the control, straight pipe. This one is gearboxed, facing away from the engine, which is increases torque, decreases RPS. This one increases RPS. You can see RPS, well, it's already, we've lost battery, so there's no point reading these anymore. But look at the torque values. We're down to 33 torque, 1454, and 91. So this one here is out of electricity in 3 more seconds. And that one's out of electricity. This one's out of electricity in 30 seconds. This one is still going. So what I just did there, Beaver, where I geared your stuff down, you're also going to use less electricity, which means you've just gone more fuel efficient. So this right here will make you doubly fuel efficient than either of these, frankly. About double. You see it's 52 seconds, I think. Yep, so this lasts 52 seconds. These two last about 30 seconds. 30 over here, 29 seconds there. So that's the other thing. Not only are you fixing the speed with your train, you're also making it more fuel efficient. Where the hell is it? How far did it get? I'll check on the map here. Is that it right there? Did it blow up? Might have hit something. It's not. It might not have a keep active on there. Oh Jesus! It's keep active. Keep active. It's still running. It just didn't have a keep active block, so it stopped. There. Let's see, is there any damage on it? I don't see any. What are we doing here? Let me run it again, see if... It didn't have a keep active, so it didn't like me leaving it. There we go. All right, so you're getting 72 miles an hour on this. If you want this faster, go from a 9.5 to a 3.2. 3.2 is a 1.5. So, you know, this is a good 72 miles an hour here. This is a good speed. I think you probably have reduced problems. I would test a couple things. Again, I would either XML or change the front. I try this on the fuel tank. You're still hitting the fuel tank? Try that. I have not hit my fuel tank once. My fuel tank is the exact same height from the ground yours is. But I do have wedge blocks on the front. So try that, because the square blocks do try to grab shit a lot earlier than the flats do. So try that. That might fix some of your issues. You know, I would just keep testing and see what hits and then work on that. You know, it's like that touch paper, that carbon paper you put on things to see where things are touching, and keep checking. Okay, damage is here. I got to address that, and eventually you'll run out of spots that are getting damaged. Oh, you're going this way now, are you? Okay. I thought you were going to Spy Cakes. You're not. You're going up to the Arctic. You know, and the other thing too is, like, you're now running at a reasonable speed. Like, does this look ridiculous that the axles are fixed? No. I don't think this looks ridiculous that the axles are fixed. You know, like, look at how close yours gets the side too. We're still not hitting. It would not surprise me if you would hit if you had pivots, because the pivots would let it shift left, right more. And so, like, we can get this tight because they don't shift. It doesn't look crazy. It's not wiggling all over town. It runs pretty normal like that. So, so yeah, I think that's what I'd run for tests. Just keep this sucker running, keep figuring it out. But, you know, they're not going to rip apart the whole game for something like that. No, probably not. I streamed some Tarkov earlier. Probably kind of finish up the stream here in a little bit. Good to see you there, Beacon Studios. How are you? How are you? Haven't checked on. Game Lord, how are you? Did I not see Game Lords? Is this not? This is showing me. Yeah, this is showing me Twitch too. Did I just miss that person's comments? I hope not. I don't see the Twitch comments on here. Sorry, Game Lord, if I missed your comments. It's Restream's supposed to be showing me Twitch comments too, and I do not see them. The recent? Where was it? I don't see it. Yeah, so it's a Restream issue. It's not showing me the comments. Let's see. Yeah, that's weird. It's not showing. Not showing Twitch. Yeah, Twitch is let's see. Twitch is not highlighted on there. That's weird. But hello, Game Lord 287. How are you? Yeah, it's weird. My my chat thing's not showing the Twitch comments, just the YouTube comments. But yeah, so like I would say if you know, I think it's premature for you to like write some of this off too. There, Oofer is the. You know, again, you've got, you know, the train was going much faster than it normally go. You know, I would say go solid axles. Like, I really do not see any benefit not doing solid axles anymore. You know, so that's something that I would look at. Keeping it as solid axles. You know, you can do so much with XML. A lot of people like they do everything XML. That's just not what I do. Well, like I do use XML when I don't want a collision there. I want to be able to put a block there, and that way you can do that. That's what I would personally do. Put some XML there if you want to keep it the same. But I don't think it's unreasonable, and you know, if something's like unreasonable or affects a small number of people, or it's a design choice you made so it doesn't work with the game, I think it's very easy and reasonable for the devs to be like, yeah, that's a design choice you made, make a different design choice. You know? Because it's like you're asking them to do like a lot of work to rip every part of rail, test every part. Like literally, you see how long it's taken me just to test this? Like you're taking up 25% of the dev team to go do this, and I haven't fixed or worked on any of the rail. I just think it's unreasonable for them to do that. I would personally, I would much rather them put in some new fishing content, fix some other bugs to keep those people from crying all the time. I would do that before I ripped out all the rail. You know, when you can make some small changes to your build and not, and you know what they would put on the bug tracker. If you put on the bug tracker, you know, my train keeps exploding on there, and they'd be like, well, you got pivots on your axles, and you know, it's too close to the ground. Raise it up. Well, the real one is like exactly this many centimeters, and like they're like, dude, it's a game. Just raise it up a little bit, and you'll be fine. You know, like, for example, if we had to put our trains 5 blocks above the ground, yeah, that's weird and unrealistic, and no train will ever look like they do in real life. But, like, you know, I think we're both going to be able to put our train within 1 block of the ground and not have them blow up all the time. You know, so. If this had a keep active, I'd just let it run and see if it blew up anywhere, but it doesn't. Yeah, so I'd make those small changes. I think you're going to be pretty good on that. You know, so that's, what did I put on there? A 9.5. That's a 9.5 facing away from the engine, and that is able to be fine, you know. That's giving you 72. What the hell is it doing? Oh, it's on top of the other build. Yeah. You're on top of another build. Relax. Yeah, so I would do that, personally. Just do that. Let's, I'm not going to hang on for too long here because I did stream Tarka for a little bit. Let's look at some fishing boats. So let's see. We got to go to Damon. Of course, we got to go to Damon. Let me bring up the Damon first because it likes to show all my personal information when I try to log into Damon. Yeah, I'll probably do a Damon fishing trawler. It's got to be a beam trawler, I'd say, right? Yeah, beam trawler, 3805. Let's look at that. I'm going to download the product sheet now before it flashes all my information to everybody. Yep, thank you. Thank you for trying to flash all my information, Damon. I always appreciate that. All right, so this is the Damon beam trawler. This is likely what I would want to build. I build all Damon stuff pretty much, or inspired by Damon stuff. So this is the Damon beam trawler 3808. So it's 38 meters long, which is good. Our max bench is what, 50 and change, a little bit over 50. So that's good. That's good size, I think. Good for multiplayer. 8-meter beam length is 37 meters. Depth at all sites is 4.7. Fuel, 110,000 liters. Okay. 11 knots, that's a good speed. I like that. I usually do like 20% faster, so let's say 13, 14 knots. Just to give us a little bit more get up and go. Let's see what it's got for accommodations. 10-person. These are kind of low res. What are you going low res on me there, Damon? Ugh. Yeah, they're low res on these. That's weird. So it's kind of got a modern look to it. I can see us doing this with, you know, these can be our standard angled windows in game. I think that'll look fine. Angle out the front. Maybe go straights on the side. Engine straight under the decks there, which makes sense. Looks like it has a shielded propeller, so we'll put a shielded single screw on there with the rudder. Wow, why is this so low res? I have to figure out why this is so low res. But it's coming up low res. Here's the low. Here's, what's that, main deck? Yeah, this is the lowest deck here. So we have, looks like generator, a main engine, the screws right here. So I'll see if I can get some higher res on this, but it's pretty low res at the moment. But bow thruster on there. You can see the shielded prop there. This will be kind of a cool build. I like this. You know, one of the benefits why a lot of these fishing boats have the rear control station is as the people are working, you can see them. So you can see the people. So if somebody goes overboard or if they're getting hit by waves, you know to slow down. Otherwise, you're looking at the camera the whole time behind you. So this would be kind of cool. If we look at the pictures from the devs, see, do I still have it up? Let me see. They haven't updated here yet, so that's kind of obnoxious. I'd have to find it again. But you can see that they're using, the nets are hooking onto poles, and then the nets come off the poles, and then we can winch them in and out. So what we'll probably do is, you know, put those poles, once we figure out how to run them, winches off the sides. That way, when we're operating as a multiplayer, I can look out the windows and look at all you guys. I don't need to look at a camera the whole time. A little bit of a back deck on there, so that's kind of cool. I like the general layout of this Damon trawler here. You can see it kind of a little bit more here. So you can see we'll be able to drop a net on either side, bring them in the center, have the fish store there, have an upper deck here. Let's look at the gallery. Yeah, they don't have any pictures for this. This is newish, I think. Yeah, they don't have a lot of pictures for this. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, we looked at everything on that. So that's kind of cool. I like that. How long ago did I stop working on my train? I'm still working on my train. We played with the train like 2 days ago. I did that on there. Oh, he's returned Citrus back from the dead. But yeah. Yeah, I'm still working on that train. I haven't finished it yet. Let's look at some fishing trawlers, see if there's anything we like better. I kind of, you know, I like some of the front ones. I like some of these shorties. Like a shorty like this is kind of cool, but I think I'm going to probably go with that Damon. Like, these are kind of cool. I like these. The nets pull right up the back. We're going to have to see how the trawler, how it works in game. So I'm thinking the beam trawler is probably going to be the best. Kind of like this is a beam trawler here. A picture will bring up when I click on you. Like here is, see, it's Damon. That is Damon. It says photo Damon 1. This is the Damon one we just looked at. So this is that's the beam trawler. So I like this. I think this is cool because like we can do a bunch of rigging. We can do pulleys. We'll be able to put the nets on either side, so as I'm driving, I can kind of see the nets. You know, you guys can work on the deck, and then, you know, we can bring them in and then drop the fish in the middle. I think that's kind of cool and fun to be able to drop them in the middle. Like, here's more of a forward trawler there. Bunch of these centers. I think it'll be fun. So I think, you know, probably work on that Damon a little bit tomorrow. We'll do a captain's workshop where that one's going to be longer. These are neat. Look at that, Johnny. You know, I don't have good schematics on that Damon, which kind of sucks, but we'll use some information from other ships. That's just a bad schematic. Usually, I like Damon because the schematics are really good. And, like, you can go and really, like, in super detail and putting things right where they're supposed to be. You know, so that's kind of cool. Like, I'll watch some videos on some beam trawlers, kind of watch how they function. Be kind of fun. But I'm excited about this. Are you guys excited about this? I think it's going to be fun. You know, it's funny the couple grouchy people that already popped up. It's like, dude, people have been asking for this for a long time. And if you don't notice that, you haven't been paying attention. It's like, you know, JSI has been putting out add-ons and all sorts of shit for this and building fishing vessels that had no use for a very friggin' long time. People have been wanting commercial. Here's another. This is the Damon. Another view of the Damon. See, it says Baird Maritime. I wonder if there's some sort of thing, but this is the exact same pictures Damon had. So I'm interested about that. Yeah, it says Damon right there. Damon Shipyards. That's the Damon right there. So yeah, I like this. This looks like where the fish go in the middle here. So we'll put hoppers in the middle. There's plenty of walking around room here too. So we'll put hoppers in the middle. Nets come up. We drop the nets in the middle. Rear decking on here. We should be able to get this slapped together like in 3 weeks. I should be able to get this pretty much going to the point where all we have to add is the actual fishing components, learn how they work, click them in. So that will give me, like, I've been waiting for like a project that I could sink my teeth into. So I think this will do it. So what we'll do is, like, I'll start doing more of Captain's Workshop. I think it's going to be Workshop. I put Workbench. It's supposed to be Workshop. It's supposed to be the same as this, Workshop. It's because these are the builds that I intend to go on the Workshop when they're done. And so we'll do Captain's Workshop. I have to rebrand the first episode. Not a big deal. But, yeah, that stuff looks cool. I think this will be a lot of fun to make. Let me see if some more pictures on here. So these, I can find pictures. I have the dimensions from Damon. Even though the pictures and the schematics aren't great, I can still rip them apart and get precise dimensions. So it makes it a little bit easier to build. You know, this, stop zooming in. I don't need the zoom. Thanks. Like, yeah, we can see what's going on here. We got living quarters back there, so that's easy on this deck to put living quarters, like maybe a galley here. The bridge up there. I don't know what's in here. This is probably net storage, maybe. I don't know. Live well's probably in there. There's a bunch of these pictures here. Same shit. It's just showing different angles that it didn't actually show me. I think, yeah, here's another picture. I think 38 meters is a pretty good length. You know, this has a lot of open space, which makes it easier to build because it's not like you know, I don't have to build like all, like it's Alistair's problem with the icebreaker that he's got, you know, 4,000 rooms he's got to build. That's a pain in the ass. This is a little bit more reasonable. You know, we have a back deck for walking, which is kind of cool. It's a little bit more modern than I like, but I think it'll be all right. And, yeah, so this will be fun to build. So we'll kind of build that up. Let me see. Let's go back to the update. We'll look at some pictures. Maybe we'll look at some of the grouchy pants and see what they're saying. Let's try to, I gotta find the link again because they didn't post it on Steam yet. They were late on that. You know, sometimes you got to do the time conversion and realize it's already 7 p.m. by the time they get out of work sometimes. So it's like, I give them a little bit of a break on that. All right, so like you can see them fishing here. So definitely like these posts, we could add these in. You can see the nets are coming from here and they get drawn in the middle. So these are probably new blocks for the nets there. Like I'm amazed they were able to get nets in. I'm happy with it. This has a spreader bar here, so you notice this right here is the net part. So it looks like we only need this part here for the net because we have this part here and we have this part here. We have a spreader bar with just 2 winches going straight down. The new fish finding radar is going to be cool. I'm curious how that's going to work. Maybe we can get Basilicious to shoot us up a screen for it. Yeah, I haven't been on Reddit in a long time, which is good. Reddit's just is a cesspool, frankly. Let me read some chat. I don't do collabs with anybody just because I only do my own stuff. I'll always only do my own stuff. Yeah, Sergeant, that's weird. It doesn't show. I have it even set on Restream. It's not showing Twitch. I might have done it incorrectly. What it could have been, too, is I went straight from Tarkov to here, and so I'm curious if that's what happened. So I wonder if that's what happened. So it might have been something. I went really quickly to the next stream, so that could have been what happened. Yeah, but I'm not seeing your comments, Sergeant, on what do you call it, Twitch. That's weird. I'll check it next time. I think it's because I went straight from Tarkov to here. It might have screwed it up, so keep an eye on it next time. Yeah, I usually don't do collabs with anybody. I just kind of do my own thing. I play multiplayer with the members, but I don't do collabs too much. Yeah, so you can kind of see, like, here are more of those, like, parts, and they are, the nets are going through them. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about having regions where having regions where there are certain fish. The fish are at different values. These are all things that I asked for in my video. Again, I don't think they're pretty obvious things. I think, maybe they were like, oh, that's a good idea. We didn't think of that one. But I don't think it was like some sort of genius move on my part by any stretch of the imagination. I think it was some pretty obvious things. And I think that will be good because, again, you would have people go 10 feet off the dock, go around for 5 minutes, get $2 million in fish, say, this is OP, why would you ever do anything else again, and then stop playing. And it's like, those people are meta people who will always do whatever makes them the most money in the shortest period of time, and then they wonder why they get bored. Because if you made an adventure out of it, head out for 20 minutes, go do a bunch of trawling, come back. It takes you 20 minutes to come back. Now you start to have some time commitment. That was like, I don't know if Beaver's still here, but like one of the reasons why my train goes the speed it goes is because I didn't want to get places too fast. And I didn't want to go around, really quick turns fast. I wanted to be able to set it at a reasonable speed and let it just kind of be a chill, relaxing ride. And the same thing's kind of true for fishing. It's like, it's going to be nice and chill to like go out to the fishing grounds. And then we control, and it's going to be a lot of like, it's going to be a lot of work setting the nets up, getting the nets out, trolling, bringing the nets on, stopping the ship, bringing the nets on board, dumping them. That's going to take a lot of work. And so it's kind of a nice, relaxing thing after you did a bunch of work to have to kind of chill out and sit and head back in for 20 minutes. It's going to also give you some reasons to build for example, a large boat. Like if you have a tiny little boat with a net, right? And in 5 minutes, you can go back, forth, sell, back, forth, sell, back, forth. It's going to be tedious and boring. And eventually, people can be, oh, look, I made $2 million in 5 minutes, stupid devs. And it's like, no. You chose to do that. You chose to, like, break your own gameplay. I think this is going to be cool where, like, you want to go to a certain area. You want to go buy the fish report. You want to go look at your fish finder and actually find the fish. I think the devs made some smart decisions here. We'll see how it's implemented, but I think it sounds pretty damn good so far to me. I'm curious to see this part here. If you notice, the net connects to these dongs here. And then you notice how the net comes down and it connects to this dong right here. So I wonder if that's how you get the nets. These must be buoys. Which, if these are buoys, and we could maybe get buoys for crab pots. If we look right here, is this a part we have? What is this part here? I don't see this green piece right here. I don't know what that is. It could be, I see, like, I'm looking at the winch, but the winch doesn't have a center spot there. So I don't know what that is. So I'm curious what this is. That could be a float. They might have floats on the nets, so the nets float. I don't know. Maybe you have to weight the net. I don't know. So I'm interested to try all this out. This is going to be fun. Yeah, this will be fun to try out and see what's up. So kind of expect we should be getting whatever this part is. The nets, I think, are attached to these. They're probably going to get composite logic. If you noticed on this picture up here, the reason why these two winches are up here and not going to pulleys probably is it's using cables. I wish the cables would go through pulleys, devs, please. But it looks like they're probably sending composite signal down here to the two arms here. Actually, you know, it's probably not composite. They're probably sending the on-off switch through here and through here. And that might be on-offs. I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing what that's about. You know, maybe with these being 3 long, maybe they are on-off or in-out. Maybe they're in and out, and so they're sending in on this one, and in goes here and here, and out goes on this one, here and here. And that's why they have 2 of these. So that would be my guess there, why they're doing that. Yeah, and then on this picture, it's down here. So you have these on pivots, and there's no cable because the net's actually on there. But yeah, so I think this is pretty good. Let's look at the Grouchy Pantses and see what they're saying. Yep. He deserves those for his great insights there. This jackass. At least people are giving him clowns. Like, he's being a clown. People are giving him clowns. Good. Whiny bitch fest there. It's like... Again, you got to give him some space to try some stuff, guy. Things are going to break. Let him fix them, and we get more gameplay. That's how you get a game that, like, you know, they work on for, like, a week, and then they never touch again because they're like, screw this, we'll just go make another game. And we'll stop that, you know. You know, like there's Charlizard talking about. Charlizard has made some add-ons for fishing. There we go. There's a good one right there. We like that one. Keep up the good work. And God, this has some of the whiniest people I've seen. Exactly. Again, you know, I agree with the sentiment, but again, speak for yourself, you know. This is finally an update I wanted. This, like, I don't understand people talking in this, like, speaking for other people. Just speak for yourself, man. You don't have to talk for everybody. Just talk for yourself. This is finally an update that I wanted. Focused on maritime. Keep adding more things like this. I love ships. I love the ships. Talk in first person, man. You don't have to talk for everyone else. You don't have to overinflate other people's opinions. Let them talk, you know. The Stalin nonsense here. Again, I think that's a good thing. Hopefully I hope we get sales. That would be fun. You know, what I would like for sales is I would like to make a really tiny sailboat. Big sailboat doesn't interest me all that much, but like a tiny little sailboat just to get around a harbor would be fun, I think. For me. Hushy being whiny. Here, exactly. Hushy whines constantly. You're not a fan, Hushy. You're a hater at this point. Just go away. Go play something you have fun at and do that. Like, there's plenty of games I don't like, and I don't sit here and whine and bitch on their forums all day. Go play something else, dude. You're not a supporter of the game. You think you are by bitching all the time. You're not. You know? You don't have to like everything they do, but all you ever do is come and whine and bitch. It's like, that's not, it's not productive. Go do something else, man. You just drag down the community is all you do. Again, they hinted about as hard as they could possibly hint that this is what they were doing. Like, people who thought they were stopping at the fishing rod, it's like they weren't reading the words they were saying. I just didn't get it. Again, this is not search and rescue. Fishing is not search and rescue. People like... It's funny. The people who love search and rescue, great. But they act as though, like, any other gameplay steals from them, and it doesn't. And it's like... So then anything they also like, they label as search and rescue so that they can fit it into their definition. That, yep, this is good because this is what game should be, because what I want is game should be what game is should be. You know. I think we bullies the devs into making this happen sooner. Why do you get that? They said from the original last major update, end of January, was it January 30th, that they were going to be doing commercial fishing. Like, you could see that that was the subtext that they were putting there. This one's good. I like this one. I like the cut of this Finnegan's jib here. Yeah, man, I agree. I really hate it when the devs give us new content, especially when it's exactly what we asked for. I like the cut of your jib, Finnegan. Yeah, exactly. They said it was going to get fixed in the next update, man. There we go. That's, yep. They always do. Dude. Whether you like it or not, hack and whack, they've been listening to us the entire time. Again, I'm not bringing the poll up again. You look at the poll, they've been following it pretty much one step after another. Again, just because you want something different than what was voted for does not mean that they're not giving the people who voted what they wanted, you know. What? How do they steal Zizo's fishing add-on? You know Zizo did not invent fishing as a concept, right? Fishing was invented by people many, many thousands of years ago, and Zizo made a mod. They didn't steal Zizo's fishing add-on. Are you an insane person? That would be like saying that Zizo stole human beings' fishing ideas and turned it into a mod. It's like, it's nonsense. Like, Zizo didn't have nets either. It was different. My God. People are nuts, I'm telling you. What? Okay, good. This guy's saying what I was saying is like, you know, that they were planning this all along, and you could see that. Wah! Villager's a whiner. Yeah, Booze Rooster just bitches about the sound of the pumps all the time. Okay, well, here, let's see. The pumps are too loud. The pumps are good. Can't hear the pumps anymore. Stop putting so many friggin' pumps in your build. Why are there so many pumps in your build? I don't have any problems with the pumps on mine, because if you have problems with the pumps, put impellers in, jackass. Okay, so here we go. What direction is this game going? How about fixing multiplayer stutter? Okay, Citrus, Alistair, Sargent, who the hell else has been playing? Rasmus isn't here. I'm just looking for who's here. All those guys have been playing multiplayer. Have we been having unplayable multiplayer sessions when we play multiplayer? Or have they been reasonable? Like, you know, the guys who were watching the Tarkov stream saw Tarkov literally shit the bed and not work anymore. And I had to get off Tarkov because I couldn't load into the game. And that's a game, we talked about it, that's a $500 million game. And I couldn't load into the game. And these people bitch when they go on a public multiplayer server that has no rules, that everybody spawns a Titanic and is an absolute shitfest on their dial-up internet on their 1995 PC, and then they say, boo game, boo game. Get a better PC, get some good internet, you know, play reasonably, not with a bunch of, like, 40 people doing all their disparate shit with 40 different creations, and have some reasonable expectations, and you'll have a good time. You get a lot of impellers in your tractors. Like, I have no problem with the pump sounds. Like, let's see what is my loudest pumpy build? I think I did work on this the other day, earlier today. Let me show you some builds here, and we'll get off the whine fest for a little while. Stop listening to whiny bitches for a little while, but yeah, it's just, yeah. Those people are never going to be happy. No matter what anybody does, those people are never going to be happy, because those people are not trying to be happy. They're trying to be miserable all the time. And so guess what? They're going to be miserable all the friggin' time. All right, so... All right. Can't hear any pump noise. Oh my god, the pump noise! Okay, you don't like the pump noise? Pull that sucker down. Oh my god, unbearable, isn't it? You know, like, people are so ridiculous, I'm telling you. So I put mirrors on, as you can see, mirrors. Mirrors. So we got mirrors. I still have to angle them. But the other thing that the devs added recently was clean oil spills. So we'll see how long that takes. I have yet to test it. That's why I'm doing it. So let's see what it does. And there it goes. All right, so that's what it does. So I had yet to test it yet. I wanted to test it. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't just zoom out of the world. It kind of like fizzles out. That's cool. And that blew up because of Mr. Black Beaver's train. Me damaging that. Do a 5-point turn here. I got moving fast because I needed a hit to spin the sucker around. It's going to be a 9-point turn if I don't do it right. Oh, come on. I just let go of the steering wheel when it went into forward. Damn it. That keeps fucking me up. I keep fucking myself up here. We're going to be doing the Austin Powers here if I'm not careful. Right. Brakes. Not that I need this to go forward, but... Turn your wheels first. This is from Tractor Trailer School, people. Turn your wheels first, and then go. This was like, you see people doing this all the time, like in a parking lot, and this is why they don't, they can't get anywhere, is they don't turn their wheels first. It's like, yes, you'll scuff your wheels, but it will cost you like 1 fraction of a penny. Just turn your wheels first, and then make the turn. You see people roll forward like 5 feet before they ever move the steering wheel, and they're like, oh, do a 28-point turn. Yeah, that's the thing, is you know, whiny people are never going to be happy because it's innate in their nature, and it's like they're, I've had a long period of my time where I was too grouchy, and it's like, you got to just, like, dude, you can sit there and bitch about shit all the time. Like, you got to take the bitchy parts, like the things that make you unhappy, take those out of your life. Like, I don't go on Reddit anymore because it's whiny, complainy people, and I'm not interested in it. You know, I barely go on the Steam discussions anymore because of whiny, bitchy people. Every once in a while, I'll go in there just to, yep, they still exist. They're still doing the same whiny shit they always do. No matter what the devs do, those very specific people are never going to be happy. They're just never going to be happy. And so there's a reason why the devs don't even listen to them, is because why would you? is you can't listen to the people that are never going to be happy no matter what you do, because why would you? You know? So if you guys are happy and excited about fishing, make sure you go in the comments and voice that you're happy about this stuff. You know, it's like, I think those of us who enjoy things do not, unfortunately, spread that joy enough, and what ends up happening is it seems like people are having a bad time all the time. You know, and it's like you gotta, when you're having a good time, you gotta acknowledge that, yep, that was good, I enjoy it, thanks for giving me that good time. Because too many people, they, like, for example, like when you see reviews of restaurants, who usually reviews a restaurant if you had a really great time or if you had a really bad time? And so what will often happen is if you go and you have anything less than a great time or anything better than a stellar time, you leave no review. And so what you get is you get a bunch of 5 stars and you get a bunch of 1 stars. The wait staff was really rude. Well, oh my God, right off the bat, I'm probably on their side because you sound like an insufferable person. And then you get the 5-star. That person had a fantastic time, you know, and so that person's kind of skewed. And so most of the people never leave a review, you know, and so it's kind of, you know, you're going to hear that. It's like, you know, when's the last time, like, if you bought a toaster oven, did you go leave a review of your toaster oven? No, unless the toaster oven caught your house on fire. Oh my God, this is the worst toaster oven ever. It caught my house on fire, right? So now everybody's like, oh my God, this is going to catch my house on fire. No. You know, one person caught their house on fire because they put a doily in there and then they blamed it on the toaster, you know. And then there might be a legitimate one that got a recall, and you'll see the recall notice. But yeah, we've got mirrors on here now, which is convenient. But yeah, I'm really excited about this fishing update. I think this is going to be good. This is going to be great for multiplayer. I want to do some more multiplayer. I want to do some multiplayer mining. We had to get the train going for that. And then I'm probably going to do Captain's Work. What is it called? Workshop? Workbench? What the fuck are we calling this here? Workshop. It's supposed to be this. It was supposed to be what this is because the plan is for me to release it. So I'll change that. We can still get the pillock. Pillock cramp is still up here. We only got the one detractor on there so far. Pillock cramp is doing well. Glad. Thank you guys for that. Yeah, but I've been having a lot of fun with this train. Again, you know, it was good going over Ufra's train, seeing what the issues are. You know, again, my train has no issues. So again, this is quintessential when you have somebody, when you have some people who the game is absolutely unplayable for, and you have other people who the game is fine for. And it's like, you know, when's the last time I cannot remember the last time I've crashed. It was within the last couple months, and it was while I was streaming. I had 2 games open, and it was while I was streaming. So likely I capped my CPU and it crashed. You know, that was the last time I had a crash on the game. Some people crash all the time. Well, you know, is it the game's fault, or are your drivers up to date? Is your PC beefy enough? Do you open up here? Watch. Open up your task manager and watch what the utilizations are. A lot of people don't do this, and they blame like something for it. For example, if you're playing a game and you notice your GPU is at your CPU is at 100%, it's not really the game's fault. It is the fact that you are out of CPU usage. And eventually what happens is the CPU is capped. The game needs some CPU. The game can't get what it needs done because the CPU is capped. And bingo, it shuts the game down. And so somebody will put in a bug report for the game where it's like, no, dude, your CPU was at 100% utilization. You know, like, or memory. The RAM will be all the way at the top. And then they're like, the game crashed. It's the game. It's like, well, was your RAM capped out? Then it's your RAM. You don't have enough RAM. Get some more RAM. You know, things like that. Or they're in a multiplayer session and their Ethernet is constantly dying out and they blame that. You know, or you look at your GPU and your GPU is pinned at 100 the whole time at 300 degrees Celsius. And then they're like, oh, it's the game. It's like, sometimes it is the game, but look at your GPU temps. Look at your utilizations. You know, that's the first thing I always ask people is, are your drivers up to date? Is your Windows up to date? Do you have the most up-to-date version of the game? You know, do you have CPU, memory, GPU, or any of those capped? Are they not? Okay, then that's likely a problem. Check those out first, because if some people are having the problem and some people aren't, it's probably on their end. A little bit of military toaster humor. Yeah, it's like, you know, unfortunately, like, I finally gave up on it, unfortunately, but there are some good people on Reddit. Some people I like on Reddit that, unfortunately, I just put in the rearview mirror because it's like, it's such a friggin' negative place that it's like, it was taken over by lack of moderation. The moderator there was pretty much not, you know, never there. And they literally started doing a thing where people were just posting pictures of cats because nobody ever went on. None of the moderators were ever there. And so you get an unmoderated community. And again, it's like a business would not let somebody in their lobby, stand in their lobby and bitch about the business all day long. They'd just say, dude, get out of here. Right? And that's perfectly reasonable. None of us would have a problem with that if a brick and mortar business said, dude, I know you didn't like the food. Get out. Okay? Don't come back. We don't want you. Don't come back. You know, but they can't make it so they can't leave a Yelp review. But again, most of the time you can read a Yelp review and say, yeah, this person seems like an asshole. Or yeah, they said the food was terrible. 90% of the reviews say the food is terrible. Likely the food's terrible, you know. But again, like we can look on SteamDB. People act as though the game is absolutely in the worst dire straits. It's not. You know, that is those people, and again, you can look at the data. Like, if, you know, people will accuse me of having an overly glowing review of this, I think I'm pretty balanced, actually. I give the devs shit constantly, but I also give them their pat on the back when they deserve it. And, you know, somebody put in one of the comments, the game is dying. Again, we can look at today's numbers. Again, April's not over, so this, we still have to see. We can look at last April. Last April, it went March, down into April, down into May, and then it went up in June. So let's see, does it do that? If it doesn't do that, we say, oh, the trend line's a little bit different. All right, it has not gone below this here. Like, look at these peaks. The highest peak, right, in September was followed by a July that had the lowest concurrent player count. That has been lower than any recent player count. So this could be statistical noise, right? That this was that low. Then we have a couple months later, it goes from 2120 to 6820. Guess what? October 2021, that was a DLC. So there's a DLC. Peak point. I think that was weapons. Maybe it was. I think that was weapons there. 21 weapons? I can't remember. We can look. And then guess what? It goes down in December, and oh my God, the world is ending. Look at that. Look at that drop. Oh my God, the game's dying. No, because you're not looking at the whole thing. It's like, maybe the game is dying. Who the fuck knows? But you can't tell this early. It's just, anybody telling you that they can tell by this little blip here doesn't know what they're talking about. Like, look at the 3-year. Have we dipped below the 3-year low? No. 1 year. You know, oh, 1 year starts looking terrible. Yeah, until you go to the all and you realize that, yeah, there's a dip in every year. Go to 6 months. Oh, my God, look at that. Yeah, but then go look at the all. You know, it looks like every year we get these dips. We're in one of the valleys. You know, 1 month. Oh, it's going down. 1 week. No, does it look like, no, the week looks good, right? You can't do, 48 hours looks fine. You know, you got to look at the overall trends. You got to look at the overall trends in gaming. You got to look, is gaming in general going down? If gaming in general is going down, then of course Stormworks would go down because Stormworks is a game. In general, it's going down. You know, also look at the fact that this game is what, 6 years old? No, not 6 years old. What is it, 2018? Yeah, 6 years old. 6 years old. And then you look, though, but 6 years old, 6 years ago, only 4 people were playing. So you go, when did it start to actually get player count? Probably, let's say between 2018 and 2019, it got a player count, which is bringing us up to our more normal, our median, or our mean area here. And so you say, okay, then that's 5 years of normal gameplay out of like the early period. We kind of get into normal numbers. And it has not dipped anywhere low. You know, again, we want to look at one that is. Let's look at Carry Command 2. You want to see why Carry Command 2 is not being developed anymore? That's why. That's a dead game. The top on Carry Command 2 was 2696. That's the peak 3 years ago when it came out. Right now it has 81 players in April. 31 players are playing right now, and the peak was 49 players. Okay, that is, it's still not a dead game, but it is. This is why the devs, like, you'll see somebody on a weekly basis will go, oh, sorry guys, I'm doing the no chart again. Yeah, I told you what most of it was. But like, you look at this, this is a, you know, there's a person who always goes into the stormworks chat on the weekly updates and is like, yeah, how about you stop updating stormworks and update Carry Command? This is why they don't do it, guys. Go get your friends to go buy Carry Command, go get your friends to play Carry Command, and guess what? The devs will update Carry Command. But they can't spend a day's worth of work for 49 people. They can't do it. Just can't do it. Not when they have another game over there that is giving them 2100 peak. So you look at Stormworks chart for the, so here is the 24-hour peak is 1755, okay? So look at the difference. The peak, oh Christ, go back. The peak on, oh my God, why do you, give me Carry Command on this one. I'm trying to compare here, people. So here's Carry Command. 24-hour peak's 49. Their other game is 1755. If you're a company and you need to feed your family this month, which game are you working on? Pretty simple. That's why they're not going to go back to that, you know. We can look at further games here. We can do some comparing. Like, some people were trying to jump ship. Some people are trying to jump ship to Gearblocks. All right. 25-hour peak. 25 people are playing Gearblocks. Okay. So people try, like, they were trying to say, oh, that's a Stormworks killer. 25 people are playing. Let's see, what's the other one? Brick Rigs, right? That's the one that people were saying, oh, that's going to kick Stormworks' ass. That's got a reasonable peak, but it's, again, that's quite a bit off. Was it, let's see, Stormworks was at 1755. That's a considerable, that's what, about, that's got about, oh, I don't know, 50-ish%, a little bit more than 50% more players were on Stormworks at the same time that were on Gearblocks, you know. You know, theoretically, you could say, oh, Gearblocks is, you know, it's not a dead game. We can agree on that, I would say. Or, I'm sorry, Brick Rig's not a dead game. But, you know, so you can compare things. You know, does Stormworks look like a dead, for example, again, a dishonest way people can argue things is, for example, they go to SteamDB, they go to Counter-Strike 2, the most popular game there is, and they say, oh my God, the 24-hour peak is 1,536,960 people. Stormworks is dead. Right? Look, Counter-Strike is kicking Stormworks' ass. Yeah, it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, so I think it's kind of silly, some of the stuff, you know. How's it going there, Hamish? How are you? Yeah, exactly. Like, some of these, like, you take some of the most popular games in the world, and it's like, and then you try to compare it to a small niche game that has a small audience, and it's like, you know, it's not really comparable. Yeah, exactly. The devs have said specifically multiple times, because people keep thinking that they're abandoning Stormworks. They have literally said multiple times, we are going to continue supporting Stormworks, and to, I would say, I don't know, I don't know the exact words, I'll have to look it up, but I would say, to paraphrase and even quote the devs, they said, for a very long time. They tend to choose their words pretty carefully. They said for a very long time. I think they mean it, for a very long time. We talked yesterday about how the art style of Stormworks, like, is pretty timeless. Like, this here is meant to be cartoony for a reason, and I brought up Crisis yesterday, for those who might not know what Crisis is. Crisis used to be the best-looking game for a long time, and Crisis was the game that everybody would benchmark PCs and GPUs to. This is remastered, too. I'm trying not to look at the remasters. Trying to look at the original. This was the original Crisis. It said remastered on it. Shit. I'm trying to find the Crisis original. There we go. Original. Here's original verse remastered. At least this will show us what they both look like. So this was Crisis verse the remastered. There we go. That shows you the difference. So Crisis was meant to look hyper realistic. And so now it looks really dated, right? And so if you try to make your game hyper realistic, here's Crisis in... Stop. We don't want to go to the website. Here is Crisis in 2007. Here is Crisis remastered. Like, the water looks terrible compared to modern games, right? On this side. The structures look terrible. The trees look terrible. You go into the remaster, the trees look good. The water looks really good. The rocks look good. And so, you know, by making a game hyper-realistic, it's never going to age well. Because eventually, it's going to get so old, the new stuff's going to look better. You make something look cartoon. Like, let's look at... let's see, what is Donkey Kong? Not Donkey... What was it? What was that game? Donkey Kong... Donkey Kong... Country. I think it was Donkey Kong Country. No, maybe it's the original. Here it is. Donkey Kong Country was what it was. Donkey Kong Country. So this was a... I'm trying to get the date of this. 94. This was 1994. So this is a cartoony game, right? It's meant to be cartoony, but it looked really good at the time when we played it. And because it's cartoony, this is what Donkey Kong Country looks like. It still looks good today because it's cartoony. Like, this is a game that could come out today as a cartoony game and still look good. It's 1994. It's a lot older than Crisis. And it still looks good because they went with a cartoony art style. And it's timeless. And so you could see Stormworks with its cartoony art style still being relevant many years down the road because it doesn't look dated. Like, you start getting games that, you know, they look dated. Like, look at that character. He's got these thin little ankles. Like, people think it's silly, but it's on purpose because the game will look, you know, it doesn't look bad in 20 years because it looks the same, you know? It's meant to look simple so that it is timeless. It's a choice that certain people make to try to pick the art style to not look dated, you know? Like, look at Counter-Strike. Let's see. CSGO 1 verse 2. They gotta have some split screens. Okay. Alright, here's CS 1 and 2. So CS 1 and 2. So there's CS 1. There's CS 2. That's not a very good comparison there at all. That looks pretty similar. I'm trying to see. I haven't played CS 2, so... Like, here's 1 and 2. This is a good comparison, like the glass. So here you have the original was they knew their limitations. They knew that they couldn't go hyper-realistic on glass, so they do opaque glass on there. They don't do much texture on the rag. Here you have transparent glass that lets the sun through, you know, and so, like, those types of games, they start to look dated like that. If you go with the ultra cartoony graphics, like, Counter-Strike lasted as long as it did because it looked reasonably cartoony. And that gives it some length of existence, you know. Like, Tomb Raider is a good example. Thanks, Stone. Thank you, Stone Wolf Dark, for that. Okay, let's do Tomb. All right, here's the original Tomb Raider. All right, try not to get overly eroticized by Lara Croft. I loved this game when it first came out. I hate third person, but this was fun. Like, do we need to state the obvious? The square fist, the not so square other things that she has. Like, this looked the bomb back in the day, but of course it doesn't look the bomb now. Now, if you made a cartoon, more cartoony Lara Croft looks better than, like, the profile view of Lara Croft. I remember this jumping in this pool when I played the original Tomb Raider. You know, like, this looks dated because it was trying to be realistic. Like, the water is gash. Like, these look dated because of the, because they were trying to be pretty realistic. This is not the original, I don't think. Yeah, so, like, the dating, like, this was underwater. Like, would this be put up with today in real games, in most games now? No. That's underwater. Like, you can't see any of the water. It's just the bubbles show you you're underwater. Like, it was a flat plane on top, and then... So, like, that's Tomb Raider back in the day, right? A big, expensive game. Like, this looks better than Tomb Raider, right? Now. Right, we go under the water. Let's swim under. Yeah, I still see people say you can't swim underwater. I don't know what they're doing, man. All right, so that looks better than Tomb Raider did underwater, right? So it's like, you know, so it's making it a little bit, you know, definitely there is a difference over the time, you know. But, you know, for the most part, I think this could be pretty timeless. It's meant to have a flat plane of water. It's meant to have a, like, we can see the pixelation here on the land. You know, like, there's a bunch of people in the community that make some really cool renders, making stormworks look more realistic and up to date. But all you'd end up is every 5 years, the game would start to look terrible. And the devs would have to go back and remaster the entire game again. And by doing a cartoony style, you don't have to do that. So I kind of understand why games choose that. And then, like, how ridiculous would my truck look? If I didn't make it look exactly realistic how it looks in real life, it would look goofy. But because it is a cartoony game, it fits right in. Right. And that's kind of why you have to pick an art style like that, especially when we're building our own parts, you know. Because you end up, the game looks ridiculous. Like, you put something in the game, it looks ridiculous. Let's catch up with chat. Yeah, like, the games, I think Stormworks got a lot of life in it. I think the devs are, you know, the devs have talked, you know, they plan on supporting it for a very long time. And literally, if it stayed in its current state now, but was available for us to play single player and hosted LAN games, which there should be no reason why you can't host a game, right? I should be able to, like, host it, or even, like, you might be able to host it on a server. You couldn't pop it up through Steam. You'd have to, like, join differently. But for the most part, like, even if I could only ever play single player again, like, I'd have no problem, like, in its current state, having fun for decades, you know? It's because I, you know, can imagine builds I want to build, you know, there's plenty to do. Out of ore? Oh, interesting. Let me look that up. That's, Stonewolf Dark talked about out of ore. Let me look at that. Is that on Steam? Game recommendations are always good. Let's look at this one. I have not seen this one here. Out of ore. Oh, this is cool. So we've got some excavator, open pit mining truck. We've got a loader. That's cool. Nice. Got a dozer. I always like a dozer. We got another excavator there. Ooh, cool. Underground mining. This is a cool game. I'll have to put this on my watch list to look at this. Oh, a scraper. Grader. Got supports for the tunnels. Looks like a miner with a belt on it for feeding the ore out. There's a loader. That's pretty cool. Let me put this on the old follow list. That's cool. I have to keep an eye on this. Let me, what is it? Out of ore. Let me find the Steam DB of that. I got too many windows open here. As a standard here. Oh my god, I have too many windows open. Let me clean some windows up here. Holy mother, we got windows open for days. But you can kind of see, like, this game is from 1994. And this game still looks good today because I hope it's not a remastered version, but I think it's the original. This looked really, really good back when we played in 94. Remember, my brother and I would play this in 94 because it was cool. You could play as Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong, and you could play co-op, which was fun. But the game looked really good back then because it's cartoony. Like, it still looks good today. You could see this game coming out today, you know. And the retro style has stuck around. Like, people like the retro style. But anytime you go hyper-realistic, you have to worry about it getting old. Like, early Star Citizen, which, like, when they tried to make it look hyper-realistic, started looking old. And the game is nowhere near coming out. And it's like, people started like, oh, it looks old now. and they had to go back and make it look better already. And it's like, that's dangerous for a studio. They have to go back and pour a ton of money in. What is it called? Let me look it up again here. For some reason, I can't keep this game in my head here. Let me look what he's. See. Out of Ore. Okay. Oh my God, Cursor, where are you? Yeah, so it's got a 79% user rating, which again, people cry that stormworks is terrible. It's got an 88%. You know, they'll do all sorts of conspiracy theories, buying bots and all this other shit. But likely what's happening is most people are just quietly playing, and a bunch of people, the whiny people, are very loud. And that's usually what happens. I've got 79% are happy with it. 97 in game, so it's a small game. Again, there's nothing wrong with small niche games. Again, right, you think of stormworks, why it doesn't have the numbers that that Counter-Strike has. It's not a casual game. You can't jump in, play for 20 minutes, and jump out. You know, you can't get anything done in 20 minutes, really. You can to a little extent, but really not. So any game that's not casual, that you can't jump in and play quickly, is not going to get millions of people a day. You know, Counter-Strike has been on for so long, it doesn't even need to advertise. You just, oh, new Counter-Strike's out. You know what it is. That's a big part of it. FPS is a huge genre. But you're going to have games that are going to be small, and that's fine. As long as they make enough revenue for the devs to stay alive, that's all you really need. But this, let me see, charts on this one. Let's go all on that one. So you see there's a good, it's like, you know, people could have said, oh, the game's dying here, but nope, it comes back up. And a lot of games, it's perfectly natural for people to walk away when they get bored, and then something new comes out and they come back. Again, we talked about this with Stormworks, that these are all content updates. So when the people say, just fix bugs, no, man. They fixed a bunch of bugs all in these valleys. Nobody came back for bug fixes, man. People come back for new content every time. And so that's what people do. They come back for new content. There's a spike. They try out the content. They play it. They start to get bored again. And then they, you know, those people go play something else for a while. Like, you'll see people with like 400 games on Steam. Like, those are people who like can't sit still, and it's perfectly fine. Just, you know, they're bounced back and forth all the time. But that looks pretty good. Pretty cool. Out of Ore. That looks like a neat game. I'll have to take a look at that. Like, they have a supporters pack on there. Like, I'm all for that too. Is like, if you look, like, if you like a game, you need to support it. And that's like the people who always want everything for Stormworks to be free. It's like, dude, if you want the game to be around that you like, you have to support it, period. Or else they have to, as a business, go do something else. It's like the people who don't support the restaurants they love, and then they cry when the restaurant goes out of business. Like, well, have you been there in the last 3 months? And they're like, well, no. Like, then how the hell do you expect them to stay in business? You like a restaurant, you got to go. You got to pay, you got to help, you know? But that's cool. That's good recommendation, Stone Wolf Dark. Thanks. Rust. Yeah, I'm not playing Rust. Yeah, Rust can compete with Ark. I prefer Ark to Rust, but I've never played Ark multiplayer. How's it going, Hamish? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going there, Walter? How are you? Crisis was... Exactly, yeah. Yeah, Crisis, when Crisis was like a GPU melter for a long time. They like used to try it on supercomputers. That was like Crysis's job, was to test everything out. Yeah, Crisis was a cool game. Oh yeah. Yeah, I couldn't remember the. I knew Counter-Strike had been around longer than Global Offensive, but I couldn't remember when it first came out. But that's been a long-running series too. It's like looking at Battlefield's numbers. Like I guess Battlefield. Oh my God, we'll look at Battlefield's numbers. You want to talk dead games? From like a game that should be alive, like Battlefield. Let's see. You know, this is of course just the numbers on Steam. They don't have 2142 at all, do they? They don't. Oh, it went on their proprietary bullshit. Of course it did. So Battlefield 4 was the last Battlefield that I liked. It still has a pretty good rating on it. 811. Oh my God, that's bad for a Battlefield game, man. 811 people in game right now for Battlefield. That's pretty bad. But again, the game is old, so it's not old. It's let's see. The release date was 2020. I guess not as old as I thought it was. Oh, that's premium edition. Was that just the premium? No, I guess not. But like, let's look at the charts of Battlefield here. Oh, wang on that. So yeah, big peak here. Pretty like this is around stormworks numbers. You know, some of them are better, but again, it's a huge studio with a cult following. Like Battlefield, first game came out when I was going to college. You know, and so this is a franchise that's been around for a long time, which means they don't have to do much advertising. You know, so. Yeah, and it had a rough start. Battlefield 4 it took about a year for it to be playable. Like, you could get in there, and it was a disaster of crashes, and just hit reg was miserable. You would run around a corner and get killed after, and that's by a billion-dollar studio, you know? Yeah, the boob triangles are not to be messed with. You know, she could cut through the wall if she needed to in a hurry to get out of there. Yeah, like she was, it was a third-person game, so you always saw her from the rear. I can't play it. Like, I would love to play Helldivers, but I cannot do third-person. Do not like it, do not want it, cannot do third-person. Will not do it. You know, and it's like, I know you can put Helldivers into, like, first-person when you shoot, but I have no desire to, like, run around in third-person either. It's gross. Yeah, like that's got 150,000 people in game. I think Helldiver is going to hang on for a while, but like you see it's dropping. Like this would be like the Stormworks people who say, "Oh my God, look, Helldivers is dying." No, it was really popular. It was a cult phenomenon, and it's starting to probably go down to a normal mean. You're eventually going to get it to a point where it probably drops off and levels off a little bit. You'll get people come back during popular sessions. It's always going to be more popular probably than Stormworks until it dies, because that's the kind of game. It's a more, you know, approachable game. But like, you know, people would be like, "Oh my God, look at that precipitous drop on Helldivers." You know, let's find if we can see, like, and then oh my God, look at that precipitous drop. No, it's like some games are just super fatty. Like everybody, like literally everybody's talking about Helldivers. It's on the news. It's everywhere. So people get on, they try it out, they think it's cool, they drop. BattleBit was one that I played for a little while that I thought it was great, but it just didn't. I wasn't going to hang on to BattleBit forever. You know, it's a great game. I would agree. I gave it a positive rating. Still good numbers on there, but like the charts, it was really popular for a while. Everybody and their brother was talking about BattleBit, and it was 87,000 players at one point. It dumped down to 16, went back up to 39, and now we're sitting at 4. So it looks like a failure. It's not. They made their money. They're good. You know, like, look, they got worst numbers, 2.87 million copies. Let's go to the price history. Current price is $8. You know, so 16 million. I think it's a 3-4 person dev studio, so not bad. You know, and part of it was they had a they have an interesting history with BattleBit. Like they went too tactical, too realistic, and it kind of ruined it. And then they went back and they made it kind of a better balance, and I think it was good. It's still a great game. I like it. I just haven't played it in a while. Oh, nice, cool. They're working on multiplayer for that Aura game. That's cool. Oh, very cool. Let me look at their Steam page then. Because I used to follow a lot of the guys who made that. Oh, North Modding Company made? Oh, that's cool, dude. I know. No, yeah, I've got some. I used to get some North Modding Company mods for Farming Sim. That's very cool. Yeah, excellent. That's really cool. I like to see that. Like VTOL VR was Banimoto from Kerbal. He was one of the modders for Kerbal. I love this game. This is one of my favorite games. Did I rate this? See, like I don't think I even I didn't do a review for this game. I love this game, didn't do a review. So it's like when you see some people overly negative and they try to make it out, like I love this game and I have yet to do a review. you know. And that's kind of that. Sometimes that's sucky too. You got to go in and you got to review the shit you like, or else that's how you don't get what you like anymore. But that's really cool. Yeah, they were good modders for that. Yeah, let's look at some Morrowind. Morrowind's interesting. Oh, I remember Morrowind when it first came out. I loved Morrowind, but I can't do the story games anymore. I just liked exploring. I like doing my own thing, but like... of course, it's low res. It's not fair to look at the low res. Like, here's a good one. They that looks fantastic. Yeah, it's like a lot of that stuff. You go too realistic, you get problems. Like if you look at WoW, let me see. Like WoW has been updated many times, of course, but like WoW has a more timeless look to it. Like even some of the old parts of WoW, like we used to go do, what's it called when you go back to the old dungeons and you do the old dungeons for like for outfits and shit. I forget what it's called, but we used to do that, and you know, like WoW has gotten a lot of new updates. The newer areas look better, but this is the other thing too. Is like when people complain about, when people bitch about the $10 price of a DLC of you know, once a year for you know, the DLCs on Jesus Christ, if I can speak, on stormworks. I'm trying to look at the website too at the same time. Like WoW, I think WoW is a reasonable value. Like I paid for WoW for a little while. I'm not gonna log into my account. I'm trying to see if I think it's $15 a month for WoW. Like if you want to play WoW, you pay $15 a month. You know, and you can turn on a month, you can shut off a month. So if you know, hey, I'm gonna be on vacation this month. I'd like to play some WoW. You buy $15 and you shut it off when you're done, if you want. You get it cheaper if you buy a year, but yeah, WoW is $15 a month, and they add content all the time. So I think it's worth it if you play a lot of WoW. But you know, would I pay $15 a month to play Stormworks? Yeah, if they gave me enough content for $15 a month. Would I pay $15 a month if they hired a bunch of devs? Let's say we got enough people to pay $15 a month for Stormworks, and they hired a bunch of devs, and we got really, really, really good content every month that you thought was worth $15. Let's say we got the value of a DLC plus 50% every month. I'd pay $15 a month for Stormworks. You know, it's nothing. It's nothing money. It's what I pay for YouTube Premium to not listen to a couple ads. You know. That's reasonable, you know? Railroaded, interesting. How's it going there? Pickle, how are you? Is that 1986? Yeah, that'd be fun to see some Out of War. That'd be neat to play some Out of War. Oh, thank you, Stonewolf Dark. I appreciate that. So... Thank you, Stonewolf. Appreciate that. Yep, we'll have to play some of that. It'd be cool when it gets to multiplayer. We can play together. We can do some multiplayer of that. I always like these sim games. Are always fun. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, it'll be fun when multiplayer comes out. I really like those guys. Those guys, like, again, you know, I keep seeing these people post comments of like, it was on last week's. They were like, I'm trying to search here. Let's see. I'm trying to search again. I'm trying to go. Actually, it's in the library. I can open it. Okay, let me open it there. I just want to go to the store page. So like these guys were modders for Farming Sim, and it's like you know, these guys are a small group of guys who learned how to do this by modding, and it's like if you want those games to survive, you got to support them. It's like some dude was like, oh, I want a bunch of, like, they asked in discussions, they were like, what would you like to see for DLCs for Stormworks? And I put all my ideas for DLCs, and somebody's like, oh, yeah, I like all those ideas, I just want it to be free. And it's like, again, dude, if you want the things you like in life to exist, you have to pay for them. Because, you know, it's somebody else's salary. You got to think of it that way, is You know, you want everything for free. You're making it so that people can't do that as a job. And sometimes people will do it as a hobby, right? People who put their builds on the workshop, they're doing it as a hobby. But, you know, sometimes, you know, you got to make sure that the people who need to do it as a career can afford to live. And if you want the things to stick around, the restaurants you frequent, the businesses you frequent, like, people used to cry about businesses going out of business, and you say, oh, well, when was the last time you bought something from there? And they go, oh, it's been years. Well, that's why they went out of business. You haven't been there in years. You know, like, if I want my favorite restaurants to stay in business, I gotta go buy some food from them. You know, that's how it works, man. That's how life works, whether you like it or not, you know. I like Arma. Let me look. What is a reforger? Armor reforger. I would like Arma to. I have Arm. Do I have Armor 3? I do have Armor 3. Why is it not showing me? I have this. That's not my birthday, by the way. So, or people try to dox me. That's not my birthday. So, I have Arma. Do I have Armor. I have Armor 3. Yeah, I have Armor 3. I have some of the packs for Armor 3. Why is this not showing? I have Apex. I have Apex. Why is it not showing? That's weird. Yo, I wonder if I bought it off on the other site, on the Bohemia site, and it's not been ported over to Steam. That could be why. I might have opened it up with the launcher. Yeah, like VTOL VR was great. That was made by one of the guys for, he made really, really cool stuff for Kerbal. Unfortunately, you know, Kerbal 2 is getting there, but it is slow, and there's a reason why. You know, like, people will shit on, like, the new dev team, but they got bought by Take-Two Interactive. It was some scummy shit. Take-Two Interactive was trying to money grab it. Take-Two Interactive put the pedal to the metal to get it out. So I don't blame the devs working on it. It's the Take-Two Interactive was just turning into a scummy company. Like, they changed company from, Squad to this new one. And then Take-Two bought them. They laid off a ton of people right when they got bought. A lot of it was just a mess, you know. So we'll see where Kerbal 2 gets to. I appreciate that, Stonewolf. Thank you. $1986. The 80s. I share the 80s with you. 83. Yeah, gotta support the 80s as well. Yeah, like Stonewall saying, support the company. You gotta support the things you like, man. Like, so many people cry about, oh my God, Sears. Sears went out of business. When was the last time you went to Sears? Oh, it's been like 5 years. That's why Sears went out of business. Is you used to go to Sears and you used to buy shit. And then you stopped going to Sears and stopped buying shit. And guess what happens? They can't pay for all the people that work at Sears. And then they go out of business. If you want to keep the business alive you got to pay for it. So when all the people cry and whine about a $10 DLC, it's like, dude, this is how the game you like stays working. You know, it's like you gotta support it, man. You gotta pay for it. You know. Yeah, it's not my birthday. Yeah, what I spend at the gas station, I spent 20-something bucks. I barely buy any gas. I use the electric on my car most of the time. But yeah, it'll be a fun game to try out. I'll have to try that out. We'll have to play it multiplayer when it comes to when that comes available. We'll have to play that multiplayer. They're doing the FPS Fest here. I don't see anything I want in the FPS Fest. I've got pretty much Tarkov as my punishment simulator for FPSs, but I haven't even seen what they've been doing for FPS. There's a cool one coming up that it's kind of Tarkov-like. I don't know if it's on. I don't think it's on. They're doing some test thing. It'll be interesting. There's Crysis 3 remastered, but yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of like. Definitely, this is it, Gray Zone Warfare. This is the one that a lot of people, like Tarkov people, are talking about now. Is they're doing like an an open play session. It's not open, but it's you know, they're doing this now. People have NDAs they sign, but this is gonna be interesting. I don't think it's gonna be a Tarkov killer by any stretch of the imagination. It's too different, but I think it's gonna be an interesting game to watch. Is this one? Let me follow that. But this one's gonna be interesting to follow if you like shooters. More tactical. You do a lot of PvE on this one. So that's going to be interesting. But, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I haven't played Hunt. You know, Hunt's kind of, you know, interesting. I hear there's a bunch of... they're also having some issues with cheaters. I got killed by a cheater in Tarkov today. Let's see if I can play the clip. I'll grab the Twitch. Sergeant, do me a favor. If you see somebody else chat in Twitch, I doubt it. I think you're the only one on there. Let me know because I can't see it, unfortunately. Like the way that Restream works is I can put up a dual chat, and unfortunately the Twitch wasn't coming. I feel bad that Game Lord didn't see his comments. Hunt's pretty cool. I've never played it. I've kind of like it'll be kind of cool, but I haven't played it. Yeah, it's a reasonable price, $13. Like this is like, you know, $13, a lot of fun for that. That's a good price for that. It's not bad. What was I gonna look at? Thank you. Yeah, I should Stonewolf. I appreciate it. I always like those construction equipment games too. Like you probably saw, like when I was playing Farming Sim, there it was like back to running a loader like it was yesterday. Loader was always my favorite. I always liked running a front end loader. I never got to run an articulated front-end loader. It was always like tractor-based front-end loaders. Like, I was almost going to get back into Kerbal. Like, you know, 454 did that video on, like, how Stormers killed all gaming for him. And I was like, I would love to get back into old Kerbal and play some old Kerbal with the mods that I love. But, like, I'm going to be sitting there looking in the cockpit and be like, oh, I want to move that gauge over here, and I can't. And it's, like, going to ruin it for me. It's like... That's a cool looking thing. Like I used to do, I don't think I have any of my good screenshots. I don't think I have good screenshots anymore. Yeah, see, these are all super old. Let me look. Let's see if we have any good Kerbal screenshots. So I used to do a lot of, so like my whole thing was I would stay right around the planet, and I would put up space stations, and I would go up and service the space stations. And some of the mods I had, like, you needed to bring oxygen up to space stations and stuff like that. So that was, like, one of my space stations. This was one of my SSTOs, I think. That was, this was a VSSTO, vertical land. Yeah, this is that vertical SSTO. That's whole job was to drop parts off to the space station, to build space stations. Here was one of my VSSTOs that would bring parts to space stations. My newer stuff was better. This is some of my old stuff, but like you see, this would fly all the way up from the ground. Like Kerbal's another example I use when we talk about stormworks. Like, you don't want the game to be too realistic where you can't do fun, cool, imaginary things or futuristic things. And so, like, if you don't know the history of Kerbal, like, they're called Kerbals because they're a different species. And this is Kerbin, the planet. Kerbin is smaller than Earth, so you can do cool things like SSTOs, which we really can't do on Earth because the gravity well is too big. And so because you have less gravity, you can do some really cool stuff that we can't do. And so that's kind of one of the reasons they did that. Let's see. I have one of my SSTOs was really like, I used it for a long time. But like this is another SSTO that you couldn't do. Like I used to do this crazy shit that I used to crane all my stuff. I used to reuse all my craft. And so I'd actually go out, refuel the craft, and send it back. And so I needed big gantries to pick things up and move them. So I was kind of nuts with that. This was one of my VSSTO, or this was a regular SSTO, single stage to orbit. That was a really useful one. So this is my favorite thing to do, strato launchers. So you use an airplane. The airplane takes the shuttle as high and as fast as it can. so that the shuttle doesn't have to burn a lot of fuel in the atmosphere. And then once you get up really high and fast, the shuttle detaches and it goes up. And so you can have a really small shuttle that can still go up in orbit because the plane is actually doing most of the work, and it gets rid of a lot of fuel. There's looking up at it above you. There's one there. I have much better looking ones that are newer. I don't have a lot of my recent screenshots, but there's like one right there. And then I used to actually like load them. So like I wouldn't preload them in the editor. I would actually, it was a separate thing that got loaded. And then this would come down and land on its own later. And there was a mod for Kerbal where you could, when you detached, any detached part, you could go back in time and you could land. So you'd actually land this. So it's kind of cool. Here's one of the SSTOs. Let's see. Oh, that's the Strato launcher. That's a Strato launcher that launches them from the bottom. Yeah, I wish I had some of my newer stuff. I've got old screenshots, so I don't have some of my newer stuff on screenshots. I think they're probably on my other PC, but they were a lot of fun. Let me look real quick. I may catch up on chat a little bit. Oh, that's cool, yeah. Glad you've been enjoying it there, Pickle. Yeah, it's definitely... Stormworks can be a nice, chill game because like you can build whatever you want. There's no rush. You know, I understand why like the people who just download things from the workshop think there's nothing to do because, again, that's like, you're not focused... It's like going into Tarkov and being like... I just want to lay in the grass and look at the nice scenery, and it's like, people keep shooting at me. It's like, yeah, dude, it's a shooting game. It's like, you're going to get shot at. Yeah, there's quite a few of us that are kind of around this age that play. Rasmus is around this age. It's kind of... it's a chill game. It's kind of that perspective thing. Like, my audience tends to be a little bit more towards my age than like some of the other content creators for Stormworks tend to be a little younger, and they probably a little bit younger of an audience. And so it's good that there's enough people that, people could find the people who play like they like to play, KSP2 and City Skylines 2 both struggle in that they didn't really have new visions. Yeah, they're just visual overhauls. You need to have a new vision. Like, ideally, Kerbal Space Program 2 would have come out of the gate with really good visuals. That they needed that. The wobbly rocket was a huge problem. Like, they've already... I think they've kind of fixed it. I haven't really played, but I'm watching Matt Lauren there. But they had the wobbly rockets, and they were trying to pass it off as like people like the wobbly rockets. No, nobody liked the wobbly rockets. Well, I won't say that. I won't do hyperbole what I just said people shouldn't do. But like the wobbly rockets, yeah, it was kind of cutesy, whatever. But a lot of people would download the mods to get rid of the wobbly rockets, and they would do the welder mod, and they would do the struts mod, and they would do the invisible struts mod, and like it was Mod City trying to get rid of the wobbly rockets. That was really not an intended feature. It was an error. And it was just obnoxious that your rocket was wobbly. And, like, you would blow up trying to do the most mundane shit because the rockets were wobbly. And it was just annoying, A little Jeep Cherokee, yeah. What age is that has got the 2-liter turbo on there? It's probably an older one, right? Yeah, let me look at that clip from earlier today on Twitch. Shit, I might not be able to open up my Twitch, and I don't know if I can access my VODs while I'm still streaming. I might not be able to access the VODs. Let me look, see if I can find them. There it is. Okay, I found it. Let's find this frickin' clip. This was annoying. I got killed by, nope, that's right now. Okay, that's the one I'm on now. See if I can find it. I gotta go back. I see where it is now. There it is. Okay. Yeah, I got killed by... This was a brutal friggin' Tarkov day. So this guy was 100% cheating. We even looked at his stats. Oh, that was me trying to get in raid, and it kept kicking me out. Yeah, I spent like a good 20 minutes trying to get in raid, and it just kept booting me. And that's like we were making fun of like how good Stormworks is compared to that. We'll get my kill in here. This was a good kill. I've got the tab muted, I think. Do we have the tab muted? Let me see. Stand by. I'm gonna try to unmute the tab. I don't know how well you're gonna hear it. Anyways, the tab's muted, so I'm gonna unmute the tab.
Sometimes you can catch them out doing
All right,
that.
let's mute the
People
music.
have done things where they go in a room that's like in the basement, and they sit in.
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking about cheaters
Dude, it's amazing.
before the cheater killed me.
Like the skin color, different map.
We'll catch this kill, and then I'll go to. There is
Watch,
the
he goes
player.
for the box. Dead. There you go, baby. That's some map knowledge right there. Fast raid.
All right, then we'll get the scav that picked his body.
First, dude, it's amazing. I killed him, and I like to hang. He's dead.
Okay, here's the scav kill. Like I am almost out of bounds in the map. I am literally sitting in the minefield. This is how deep I am in like no man. I'm literally in no man's land.
25 minutes, so we should be getting
I am in the minefield
so.
because I was sick of getting my ass kicked and sick of cheaters, and so I put myself out in the minefield so that people wouldn't come and get my shit. And that's the level of like how sick and fed up I was of the way
out here.
I was playing.
There we go. See a guy?
There is.
That's a player scav. Watch him. Watch how he watches the body. He's a little bit cautious, but he's not that cautious. Watch him. See, he's looking.
See how he's checking?
Watch,
He's
see?
checking.
See
He's
him
checking.
He's greedy. This fucker's greedy. He's gonna do it. There we go. He's dead.
I love bait bodies. Bait bodies my
Laid
favorite.
down. He's got to get back up. He just
Okay,
laid down.
so this is the cheater. Watch. So this guy's not cheating.
I don't know if I killed him or not.
No,
I
this.
got him. Nope, there he is.
No, I don't think this isn't the guy. The other guy has. See, he's looking for me. This is not the cheater, as far as I know. I did not kill that guy. I keep missing my shots. He was running around. It was tough to bolt him. So the next guy is the cheater, and we even go over his stats, and you can see he's cheating by his
I don't know
stats.
if I got him on the pipe or not. I don't really give a shit. He's got a scope, so I kind of want to scare him off. I got a guy. There he is right there.
Okay, so that's
That
the
was a
cheater.
He just laid down. He took a hit. Come on, give me some arm stam. Look, my arm stam is...
Getting
junk
annoyed.
now.
My arm stam is out, so I
Come on,
can't
give
hold
me
my
some
gun up. I
arm
got to
stam.
recoup
Never
some
have
arm stam.
when I need it.
So, like, look at me. I am completely green. My character is 100%
Give me arm
green,
stam. Give me arm
and
stam.
I'm
I need
in a
to kill this
tree
guy.
in the
Laid
minefield.
down.
Like, nobody should
Gotta
be
get
looking
back
out
up.
to where I am.
I hit him. Hit him in the arm. I could see the blood spray. Come on, give me arm stam. Give me arm stam. There he is. He's up. What? There is no way in hell. He laid down.
Okay, so watch
Gotta get
this
back
too. I put
I hit him.
a tracer in the
arm, I could
air,
see the blood spray. Come
and
on,
it
give me arm
didn't
stam,
kill
give
him
me arm stam.
because I died
There he is.
before it hit him. But I think I killed him. Watch this. Okay, watch my crosshair. It goes on his face, and watch the tracer. There we go. So I had that. I bet you he's dead. I bet I killed him because that's the tracer right there. And if we look, I can't back it up a frame. Let's watch.
In the arm, I could see
Let
the
me
blood
watch where
spray.
my.
Come on, give me arm
I could
stam,
tell
give me
by
arm
my
stam.
crosshair if
There
I
he is,
killed
he's up.
him. All right, here. Okay, right there. That's where my crosshair is when I fire. That's 100% a face shot right there. See? Crosshair is right in his face. That's about 110 meters. This is zeroed out to 100 meters. So that's a face hit right there. Oh, see, look, I even pulled it tighter. I pulled it tighter right before I fired. So see, it's at the center of his face. And there goes the green tracer. That guy's, I bet you I killed him. So my tracer's in the air, and then he kills me. So his bullet was in the air, my bullet was in the air. I bet you we traded. And that guy was cheating because we then, that's why I yelled.
100%.
Look at
like
his stats.
70
The guy's played the game for 70 hours. He's only had it for 6 days. He's got a better kill-to-death ratio than me with 6,300 hours. And so he's only had the game for 70 hours. The guy's got aimbot on. Fucking asshole. That's screwed, man. Cheater. What a piece of shit. So you know what's the other way you can tell it? See, I have his name here. So let's actually look at this. See, we're just mostly doing chatting now anyway. So there's a new website that I really like. So this is nope, this is the wrong one. Actually, we can use that site too. Let's do this one. Let's find it first. I know we're off into other things, but we'll be all right here. All right, so here's Tarkov Dev, which you could put that in. So his name is Brewski. All right, so Brewski. There's Brewski right there. You can search any player in Tarkov, right? So he has total account time 3 days, 2 hours, 22 minutes. So he's now got more hours. So let's see what he's got. Guy's been playing nonstop. He's got a 7.69 kill-to-death ratio on players. We'll look at mine in a second here. 7.6, and I'm not great, but I'm not bad either. I got pretty good numbers. 7.69 kill-to-death, so keep that in mind. In 103 raids, that's a lot. He's killed 377 people in 103 raids, so he's averaging about 3.6-ish kills per raid. Okay. That's not terrible. That's not hard, but that is not something a 70-hour player is doing. I'll tell you that much. We could pull up Alistair's account if you don't mind, and we'll look at that, and we can see what a new player looks like in stats. All right, so like what happens is they end up getting they get booted for cheating. They buy a new copy. They have a lot of time in game, so they play well, and they start cheating again. And so you can see this guy's got good shit. He's got better shit than he should have for a 70-hour. He's got an alpha too because likely he's got a white name account. I think he was white name when I saw him, which means they have the cheaper version. That's Brewski level 71. So here's me. Let's look at me. So here's my account, a non-cheat account. I have 260 days, 21 hours, and 50 minutes in-game. So 6,000 hours. I started playing, this is the current wipe. That's this wipe. So we should all have reasonable numbers like that. All right, so here I am. I have 572 raids. So this guy had 103 raids in 2 days. I have 572 raids since December. Okay. I have a 6.23 kill-to-death ratio on my PMC. I have a 1.22 as a scav. I never play a scav. I've only done 50 scav raids. So that's my stats. Okay. So that guy's kicking my ass on kills. You know, it's just you could tell that dude's. You could tell by like the stats after a while. And he's a brand new player. Alistair, do you mind showing? You mind sharing your name in game? Is Alistair still here? Yeah, I think he is. Let me catch up on chat. Alistair, if you don't mind, just put your Tarkov name, and I'll quickly show you. I just want to show what a new player looks like. I've got citruses I could look up too, but yeah, I like the older Wild West. I like the older Wild West weapons. I think that would be fun in Hunt. Might be nice to try it at some point. Yeah, it's kind of, I get that. Like, some of the traps are cool. Some of the monsters are cool in Hunt. I just have never played it. Yeah, I got the cheating clip up. Yeah, exactly. The cheater heard me talking about him. I was talking about... Yeah, it ruins the game. I don't understand how it's fun. Like, I understand it. It certainly doesn't make it okay, but I understand when people do it for money. Like when they sell the account, and like some people are in like a really like an impoverished country and they have no opportunity, and so they cheat and then they sell the account to other people. I get why they do that. It's still not right, but I get why they do it. Yeah. Okay, there we go. All right, let's look at Alistair. We'll see how sussy his account looks. The old sussy baka. Is it 0017? Did I spell it wrong? I can't see. Maybe I should be able to copy it directly. There we go. No players. How many days have you had the thing? It might not have updated yet. What is this? My God, what is this website doing that I'm on here? That is the one you gave me. Let me see. It might just be that if you have two new... Well, that guy's got showing... Well, he's showing a week. How long have you had the game? A couple days? Let's check Citrus's. I don't think Citrus will care if I show it. What is it? I don't know what Citrus is off the top of my head. He said I friends with him on Tarkov. I just don't want to boot the game to do it. Yeah, let me try one more time. It shouldn't. I don't think it matters. It does what's closest to it. Let me try it with capital. Yeah, I think it's your account's probably too new because this is not This is not from the official Escape from Tarkov developers. It's it's a third party, so it probably takes time for it to update since you bought it recently. I can't remember Monk's name. I was gonna look up Monk's just to see. Let's see. That's not searching either. Okay. Yeah, but that's like you could tell 70 hours, and the dude's got a 6-1. He's got a 7 something against players. It's like, no. Like I'm not the best, but I've got pretty good stats, and I've got a lot of experience in the game. I've got a 60% survival rate. I got a 6 kill to death, a little over 6 kill to death. I've got 25 survives in a row. I got a lot of survives. My best ever was 32 survives in a row. That was pretty nasty. Yeah, I think I'll probably finish up there. Thank you, Stonewolf Dark. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. That'll be a fun game to play, and I'm glad those North modding guys are making some games. That's cool to see people enjoy it. So we'll start working. I'll probably do a captain's workshop tomorrow. I'll probably start working on that fishing boat, but I'm really excited about this with this new major update. I think it's going to really be fun to be able to start building some stuff. Again, the grouchy grouches are going to be grouches. That's what they do. And so, I think most people are really going to love this. It's something a lot of us have been asking for a long time. The big thing is this is a building game. It gives us a lot to build. I think it's going to be fun for multiplayer. I really plan on doing a bunch of multiplayer streams with you guys where we go out and we go fishing. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the devs did the right decision in choosing to make the fish in certain areas to make it so we can buy fishing data. I think it's a great idea to have a fish finder as a separate item so that we're not just using radars or sonars. We actually have a fish finder, so it's not detecting other vehicles or players. It's detecting fish. I think that's a good idea. I think different amount of money for different fish is a great idea. That's going to get us out of our comfort zone. It's going to get us to travel. That is what makes the game good, is there's a reason to go from here to there and not just go 5 feet off the dock and swish back and forth and be like, I'm so bored now. It gives you a reason to take your big trawler out a long distance and have beds and have a galley and makes you feel like you want to go on a journey and go fishing for like 2 days in real world and then come back, Yeah, Pickles, I'll bring it up real quick. It's coming up. They announced the next major. I put in Kerbal, that's why. I'll bring it up real quick. They still haven't updated, those bastards. Why have they still not updated? Here, it's right here. Oh my God, what are you gonna do? So this is the upcoming commercial fishing major update on May 8th. So it's fishing nets. We're gonna get fishing nets. They're doing a ton of stuff. Go read this. It was good. I'll put out the video later. But this looks really, really good. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that will be the big one. But that's gonna be good. So we've got 3 weeks to that. So I'm gonna be building the vessel. So hopefully by the time it gets here, like we can intuit some things from here. Like I'm gonna need some arms. They need to be able to pivot in and out to run the net. It's gonna go between them. So we could probably do T-ends on this because I want to put a net on each side like the Damon ship does. Could also go off the back if we wanted, if we want to do a different type of ship. But I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. Thank you again, Stonewolf Dark, for that game. That will be a lot of fun to play that. Let's see. What else we got? The build challenge Kilo is now open for submission. You can submit your builds for that now. I opened that up today. It's good to work on Beaver's train there, locomotive, and get that going. Again, I think at the end of the day, we're going to have to make small concessions because they're not going to redo the whole map just to make it so you can have a little bit here and there on your train. So I think we kind of figured it out that by fixing the axles and not having them on pivots was much, much better. And then, you know, if you really want your locomotive to be slam to the ground, like mine is 1 block off the ground and it doesn't hit, just put in some XML blocks. You know, they look like they go all the way to the ground, but they're 1 short or they're 2 short, and they'll never hit because there's no collision there. That's the best part about XML, as far as I'm concerned, is the ability to, you know, be able to have visible blocks, but invisible or non-existent collisions. Essentially, is what I'm saying. But yeah. So that'll be fun. I'll definitely be doing a bunch of streams and stuff like that with that stuff. I'll be starting working on the build, but I've been looking for something like a big project to build. And so again, this is why people come back to the game, is you get a big project to build and it brings you back for 3 weeks to build and then go do some fishing, you know? So I think this is gonna be a hit, I think. You know, there's some, like, I didn't think space was gonna be big of a hit at all, and it wasn't. Not that I'm some sort of, you know, soothsayer, but you know, I think this is something that's definitely gonna be a hit. It's more approachable. You don't have to learn how to build a rocket. You don't have to learn how to build, you know, work the astronomy sensor. You just have to go build a boat with some nets and go out fish. You know, that's a little bit easier and more approachable for a lot of people. And I think that's going to be good. So thank you guys for watching. We'll go ahead and we'll roll the credits, and I'll see you in the next one.